Hello, everybody, and welcome to the newest exciting episode of Technically Trek. I am your host, Dave Prime, and over yonder there, our fabulous Captain Katie has returned. So welcome back, Katie.
I bet you all haven't missed my cackle one bit, have you?
Oh, we always have it every Sunday on Dangerous Thoughts, so ha 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 ha.
You do with yeah.
Even if you're not there, you are there. You are heard. You are loved.
It's a good job in it. You rather love me or you hate me. I'm like Marmite.
And saying so, as always, a big thank you and shout out to Mono Interremi and Tyson Strasberg for their weekly podcast, Dangerous Thoughts. You can find it on YouTube on Sundays at 6 o'clock Pacific, 9 Eastern. You can also find it on Streamer, which you can find us as well. And so you can find all the links and information on future guests on their website, dangerousthoughts.show. This, like I said, just stay up to date on everything that's going on over there, including Katie's weekly blogs, which being on hiatus from here, she's been on hiatus over there as well. But hopefully, here once you're at 100% again, we'll be getting going on that again. And what were you saying is the next one you're working on?
Well, I'll be very honest with everyone. I've had a lot going on the last couple of months, and that's why my blog has been on hiatus. That's why I've been absent from the shows. And last week, my father passed away. So I'm slowly trying to get back on my feet, but the next blog that'll be coming out hopefully in a couple of weeks will be the third and final part to my Witch Trials series, which will be the Witch Trials of mainland Europe.
Right on. Oh, and apologies, I didn't update my little ticker thing up there. I still have Zach as the guest co-host, so whoops, I knew I was forgetting something today.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, but I might be able to get that fixed and mid-show. We'll see. But this is going to be our last evening for now with the retro rewatch episode, since starting well in about 7 hours, the newest season and final season for now, hopefully, of Lower Decks is going to be airing here. So about 7 hours. I don't think I'm going to be up for that, but I might watch it before I go to work in the morning. We'll just see what time I get up and all that. So, yeah.
I'll
So,
probably be awake for when it airs across here. It'll be about 8 a.m. here, but I will tell everyone now, I will not be watching it until just before next week's edition of Technically Trek, or I will forget.
and I'll definitely remind you, say, have you watched? Have you watched? Have you watched? Have you watched? And say, but it's going to be 2 episodes. 2 episodes, Dos Cerritos and what was the Shade of Green? Shades of Green. So they're
I
kind of
take it that's got something to do with the Orions then.
definitely, because it's the still image that I've seen on IMDb has Tandy involved there. But Dos Cerritos, if you want to see a spoiler, go to our Discord at Dangerous Thoughts. You can find the link down below. The short link is bit.ly/DT_fam. Be sure to put that underscore in there, because without it, it'll take you nowhere, but someone else already owned it. So, but it's a dead link now, so that I couldn't take that over. But yeah, same there.
And
I
I
got
won't mention any spoilers.
Yeah, there's a couple of spoilers that I posted on there that Star Trek put out on their YouTube under Technically Trek Technobabble. It's at the last link in a slew of other things, so you can get to know the DT family a bit more and come and join the show. Yeah, typically we have both Phil and Tyson on at this point, but they are both running late. So I just figured, Mala's here, so hi, Mala. She's just waiting in the background, watching in the background.
And Zach's here as well. Welcome to
Oh,
you both.
oh, yay! Yeah, feel free to pop in at any time, man. Yeah, just because you're not a guest co-host doesn't mean you don't have to be that you can pop in on camera still. But we're going to
I'm
talk
not
with
that
you.
scary. I'm not that scary as a co-host. I may have captain there, but I'm not that scary as a captain. I'm still just as unhinged as when I am in the Space Witch persona. So just so you know.
Yeah. And it looks like the status I gave you when you posted on YouTube, it posted under me again. So yeah. But
Oh
we
no,
are
I
gonna
specifically put that in just to let
what's it?
everybody know that it was
Yeah.
running late.
Yeah, see, but we're gonna talk about the season one episode. Oh, Mala's got lots of notes, so hopefully she can pop in on camera with that. So, but we're going to talk about Skid of Evil, and it's like how far does one take one's friendship? Good evening, Phil. How far does one take one's friendship to the extreme? Because not only is like, well, spoiler alert, Tasha dies in this episode, but she dies while trying to save Troy and Ben, and just like how far does one go to protect one's family, not to cop off another Star Trek movie. But what are some of your opening thoughts to the episode, Katie?
Well, first of all, it's a brilliant episode full of death. The week after my dad died, so
Uh,
suffice to say, I cried more than usual. But there's a few things. I've barely taken notes. Mala has many notes. I have few.
Yeah, I had to use index cards for my notes because I don't know where my notepad disappeared to.
Well, this episode for me is it's not one of my favorite episodes, but it's not one of my least favorites. It's one of those episodes that I can take or leave. I like the episode. It does hit in the feels. I wouldn't say that this is an episode of how far would you go for friendship. I think it's more the bonds of family rather than going that extra mile and the bonds of friendship. There's a lot of friendship in it, but it's more of a friends that have become family episode.
Mm-hmm.
And it sings to me because that's what the entire DT family is to me. Friends that have become family. And so that hits me in the feels a lot. There's a few issues that I've got with the episode. When it comes to a certain few things.
Well, one thing I found interesting that this is like the third episode in a row that Riker was immobilized in some fashion. They say so. This one, Armis swallowed him up, saying he was immobilized by those little floating dustbusters in Arsenal of Freedom, and he was also immobilized in Symbiosis with Dejan, if I remember the character's name right, where he just kind of just like put his energy hand over his chest, and Riker's just like.
Definitely. And I agree with Mala's comment as well.
And that comment too.
Oh.
No, she's like slurped by Armis.
I'm sorry, but that word, I'm sorry, but that just takes me back to the show on Sunday for the closing credits. I'm so sorry.
I'm gonna have to check with Cassie later to see if we got demonetized for that or not yet.
Oh dear, Mala, I love you so much. I really do. Oh, that is funny. I'm so sorry to go off track with that, but
That's okay. That's what makes this technically track. So
that comment just threw me for a loop.
oh. the week that you've had, you need the laugh, and Mala sends hugs to you. But while my co-host tries to get control of herself again, saying there's a couple of other little tidbits of the episode. This was the last episode that Leonard T. Lynch, which just the way he says his name, it's like when Picard called for the engineering, I swear you could see Picard's eyes roll when he responded. But that was the final episode that he was in. It was the last episode of Chief Engineer was featured in it until Geordi took over at the start of season 2. It was also Will Wheaton's last appearance as Wesley for the season 2. And oh yes, Mala. Yes, Mala. Yeah, saying yeah, he was a douche. He was
Oh, I hate him. I really do. He just, I don't know. He was just.
The StreamYard links in Discord, Mala, under the Technically Trek Technobabble. But there should be a link on the YouTube as well. Let me double check here. I could have sworn I put it in, unless I was an idiot and put next week's in there on accident.
Yeah, the StreamYard link is in the description below.
Does it end in FHFP?
Say that again?
It ends in FHFP?
Yeah.
Okay, so it does have the right link. Okay, good.
Yeah.
You just got to click that little more button.
Yeah, go to the description below, click on more, and it's the first link you see. After all the hashtags.
No, I wasn't talking trash yeah, Zach, I wasn't talking trash at all. It's just the fact that that was the last appearance of Will for the season until season 2 came around. Even though that the episodes were shot out of order, so when they first aired, say Symbiosis came right after Skin. Well, they were shot out of order. So, like when Symbiosis ended, the previous episode, The Skin of Evil, when Tasha's out in the shuttle bay, she's waving goodbye because that was her last scene, even though she's already died. She's still there. And speaking about being there, Tyson has joined the chat, so let me. Hello, good sir.
Jesus, why am I having Katie Zoom issues? It's like all in my face, and I'm sitting pretty far away.
Is it happening again?
It's probably since the proportions with the windows and stuff. So even though you look wide in a way, saying you're like really up close in the.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's the camera. When I stand naked in front of my bedroom mirror, I look wide also. So.
But no, I'd say looking down below at my camera, Katie's camera, and your camera, you got some birth around you.
Yeah, no, you can see my pores. That's a good camera.
Well,
hello.
You found the link.
Oh, we can hear you.
Oh, good. Normally I mute myself, so.
So yeah, we got an admiral, we got a captain, we got a lieutenant, and we got a red shirt. So hopefully you survive the episode, Mala.
Somebody had to be the red shirt.
And then Phil's
red shirt that's in this episode though.
No, she was wearing gold. So we didn't even see it coming.
Speaking of colours of uniforms, though, I know this is like right at the end of the episode, but I need to bring it up before I forget it.
Mm-hmm.
Beverly's uniform changes colour.
From blue to green?
Yep.
I thought I noticed that, but I wasn't sure if it was just the lighting or maybe the camera, the film they were using.
No,
That,
I
that's
actually
just that's a,
took
that's a,
photos of it.
it's a distinct possibility that it's just like the bad lighting. But
Well,
that was
while the
another
captain
thing.
is looking that up, though, quick question: do we have a premiere that's happening tomorrow?
Yes, yeah. We mentioned at the top of the show in less than about 7 hours. Say Lower Decks is going to start popping out on Paramount Plus.
I'm dancing. You can't see it, but I am.
And I don't think they're even dropping one episode. I think it's two, right?
Dos
Yeah.
Cerritos and Shades of Green are the name of the 2 episodes.
I'm excited. I'm looking forward to this. And you know what? I'm going to watch it Friday. Why are you going to watch it Friday, Tyson? You know that you would take the day off to watch it. Well, you know that you see the lieutenant right there where it says lieutenant. Guess where I'm going to be tomorrow after work?
Oh,
Coast
at
Guard
the Coast
Auxiliary.
Guard? Nice.
Yep. So I'm in fact I'm the diversity officer, and I have a diversity training that I'm going to be presenting to the flotilla.
Fun.
So
That's
Yeah,
very cool.
kind of sort of got to be there. It's like I want to try and make a day of it, but I'm thinking I might wake up. I'll have a reason to wake up early so I can watch the 2 episodes because I'm going to do my darndest to partake in the discussion on another podcast, Strange New Pods. Get involved with them again. They've been doing a rewatch of season 4 of Lower Decks, and I won a sticker that they're going to be mailing to me. So
Strange New Pods. Who puts that on?
I can never remember all their names. It's a Julian. I think it's like Julian has the con. I think is his Twitter. Giraffe is another. They. I'm a blonde with ADHD. I can never
I mean,
remember all their
is
names.
it anybody we would know, or are they just
No.
YouTubers? Okay,
just other YouTubers. Yeah,
it's not
no
like
one.
the shuttle podcast or whatever the fuck Tom and Harry do.
Yeah, no. Yeah, just a bunch of fans, just like us. But yeah.
Man,
What?
I cut my finger. You can't see it. It's almost like a little paper cut.
Oh,
I cut my
go.
finger washing doing the barbecue, and I put the Band-Aid on the wrong finger.
oh my goodness. I don't even know how you managed that, Tyson. Are you okay?
You broke.
And all of a sudden started hurting, and I'm like, why is it hurting? And I see this little slice through my finger, which you can't. Oh, there, you can see it right there, right? It's that little cut that it almost looks like a paper cuts hurt worse than anything. And I put some soothing ointment and a Band-Aid and everything around a finger that didn't fucking need it.
That's hilarious.
If you need to go get that done, go get it.
I wondered why it was hurting still, and I realized I just put the Band-Aid on the wrong fucking finger. Oh my god. This is welcome to my life. This is why I'm not a professional anything.
I'm so sorry. I am so sorry.
I mean, it is. I'm a wingnut.
I love you.
And I've never done that. Even I've never done that, and I am one of the ditziest people you would ever know.
The cooker. The quicker cooker.
Oh god.
Katie.
But if you need to go take care of that, Tyson, go take care of that. We'll still be here.
No, I'm so pissed at myself. I'm going to sit through the pain as a
punishment,
as an act of contrition, so that I don't do this again.
I am so sorry.
Don't be sorry. What you've been through the past week, you need to laugh. Laughter is good medicine.
And that's pretty funny.
I can't wait to tell my mother about that.
Doctor, you took out the wrong kidney. Yeah, you know. Yeah.
Talk amongst yourselves.
No, story of my life. You know, I'm trying to, you know, so I ended work at my normal time, and I had work I had to do here at the house before the show. So I took apart the barbecue grill. I thought I had enough time. I went to the gas, because I'm rural, the gas station here sells propane. And my barbecue grill is a propane, grill. So I took both propane tanks down, got it filled, came back. I still had plenty of time, so I started cleaning the grill. Well, do you know how cleaning a barbecue grill is greasy and nasty and rusty? And so I cut my finger. It bled a little bit, but it was like a really thin, sheet metal cut. It would really hurt. But I kept cleaning, and I ran late. That's why I'm late to the show. But then I washed my hands and everything, got all the grease off, and tried to make myself somewhat. I still got grease on me. But just, ditzy right now. And I'm like, okay, I better put a Band-Aid on this real quick so it doesn't get infected. Fucking wrapped the wrong finger. And then came on the show and just realized it when the pain didn't go away. So it's just, it's what I do when I rush. I shouldn't rush. I should slow down. And
you broke Katie.
I'm glad my dingbatness can give pleasure.
Well, I'm glad it was minor and it's okay to laugh at.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's not. I already have my tetanus shot, I think. Wait a minute. When was the last time it's every 10 years, right?
Mhm.
Oh,
yeah.
fuck.
You'll be
This is why I
fine.
may have to go get a tetanus
Say
shot.
goodbye to your finger, Tyson. No, I'm kidding.
Oh, I have to. I mean, if I'm going to go down to San Diego tomorrow anyway, I might as well just get a.
Never hurts to get a tetanus. Well, it does for like 2 days, but it's worth it.
Dave, I commend you for your ability to not drink in situations like this. But if you'll excuse me for 1 second.
Don't worry, Dave. Katie and I are not drinking with you.
Yeah, see, I'm
That's okay.
just
That was a pounder. I had to pound that because I'm so pissed at myself right now. Why is it even still on my finger? I'm sitting here like it's a
That's
fucking
so
thing.
funny.
Right, I am back with voice only for now. I look a complete mess from the brokenness, so I will still be involved, but I need to straighten myself up and brush my hair, so I will definitely be back on camera soon. Until then, you're just going to have to make do with my grating voice and possibly my cackle in the near future.
My apologies, Katie. If I wasn't so ditzy.
Sweetheart, please do not say sorry. I am sorry for my laugh, but please
No.
I love that laugh.
I was
I
laughing.
adore it.
Yeah,
No,
see,
I won't be coming on at all video-wise. I apologize now, but I'm too lazy to come home from work and actually make myself look presentable.
it's all good. Like I said, having a camera is not a requirement.
Even my pajamas.
I don't know if it changes, but maybe it's a guy thing. Like I am covered in grease. Really, I am greasy. I'm nasty.
Tell.
My hair looks like shit. I haven't like cleansed.
Oh, Armis would slurp you and love it.
My nasty ass dog over here. My nasty ass. Hold on a second.
Teresa would
I want these people to see how nasty you are.
Oh,
when Mike
so
comes
sweet.
home, he's a mechanic. He comes home covered in grease and nasty, right? She runs straight up and start licking him all over the face. And I'm like, no wonder you have cataracts. Why are you doing that?
She's like, let me help you. She's so sweet.
Oh, I love that book so much.
I'd snuggle that.
Not if you felt that breath, you wouldn't. Oh my God. All that ass you lick. Ugh. All right.
But getting back to the episode.
Sorry.
Well, it's all good. Talking tears and things like that. The final scene when they're at Yar's eulogy, I guess you can call it, or celebration.
Okay.
When Troy's crying.
Mm-hmm.
Those are real tears I read, saying Marina Sirtis was sad to see her go because they really became good friends during that short time.
Sweet.
But on the flip side, is saying Denise was saying if the writers came up with a good script like they did with Skin of Evil, something like really meaty for Tasha to do, she would have stayed longer.
Yeah.
It was,
But
yeah,
they-
I heard it was Denise Crosby's decision to leave. It wasn't, they weren't forcing her out.
Yeah.
But
but-
when
Pursue
she
other-
decided to say again, I want to leave, they give her a good script.
Right?
Yeah, well, but there's a long line of this. If you go back to Star Trek the Motion Picture, Leonard Nimoy didn't want to really play Spock again, and he did it for the motion picture. And when Star Trek 2 was being talked about, he said, I'm not doing it unless you kill me off.
Zach.
Hey, Zach.
What's up?
It's been so long since I've seen you in a tank top that I almost didn't recognize you. Like that's all he ever wears, except like the last 2 times you hosted, you actually had like a sleeve shirt, and I'm like, who is this guy? Now I recognize
I was
you.
being professional.
Okay, no, but I mean, people have a body type. I cannot wear a tank top. I've tried, but I am so pasty white that when I wear a tank top, people start putting on
like
their
a wife
sunglasses.
beater.
Yeah, well, no. People like put on their sunglasses and they tell me, and I don't mean in the day. I mean like the moon reflecting off my pale white skin. They're like pulling out their crosses and getting the holy water. It's not pretty. I can't pull it off. Everybody is different, I've got the body type for long sleeves and a jacket.
I can relate to that.
Travis,
And
check
I
your
was-
Discord DM.
Yeah. Oh, Katie. Okay, you got a step ahead of me. That's good.
So, like, was anyone else confused that they were burying Natasha in a holodeck?
Well, they weren't burying her in a
a
holodeck per
funeral.
se, but she was. Yeah, it was just like a memorial.
I thought it was nice she got to say goodbye to everybody.
Yeah, and but
Mhm.
how? But I
Yeah.
think from what I've read that she recorded that alone. I don't know. They're saying how did she know where to stare exactly? There was like two.
Oh, that's
Two
all
takes in that
cameras.
Yeah.
They tell her. They have it all marked out who's standing where. You'd be surprised. It's actually more in depth than you would expect. But like, I liked how Data was like, "Oh, how empty it will be without her presence." But at the same time, I'm thinking, does he mean motionless?
They did get a little intimate.
They
They
did.
did.
One of the best lines at the end there was when he's talking to Captain Picard and he says, I understand we're supposed to be thinking about Tasha Yar, but I find myself thinking of me, how I am going to miss her, how I am going to, like, how my life is going to be impacted.
Yeah.
And then he asks, did I misunderstand or did I not understand the meaning of this? He goes, no, you got it exactly right. And I my mom passed away earlier this year, and I've talked about that a lot. Really, it brought up in the Christian religion, my faith tells me that she's in heaven, everything is fine. But if that's true, why did I cry? Why am I depressed about it? Why does this hurt me? I mean, if my best friend went and won the lottery and got a mansion, I wouldn't be, oh, I'm so sad. I'd be like, nigga, you better, oh, wrong word. You better buy me up there. Sorry, I get a little ghetto when I was in El Cajon. I used to get ghetto like that.
Girl.
I was the only white person in the clique, so I started adapting to a different linguistic. Anyway, but I'd be like, why am I up there with you? Like, you'd be happy for him, right? If somebody inherits the kingdom of heaven, you don't cry about it. You're like, yay, my God, when is it my turn? So why are we sad? And the reason is because we're crying about how we're going to be impacted, right? Like how I can't wake up in the morning and go talk to her if I want to, or see her if I want to, or be there if I want to. Like, she's not there, and I'm crying for me, not for her. And that really, right, but from an android, that was a very human perspective, and it's always stuck with me, right? Like, he got it maybe more than, some people may have been feigning, sadness for this person, when in truth, they were crying for themselves. And Data was the one who said it out loud. He said the quiet part out loud, right? That was
Data made me cry more than Tasha.
Yeah.
He had some great points in that episode, like when Armis is trying to use him as the weapon, and he's like, "It's still you, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, not
Mhm.
sorry."
Well, yeah, it's. I saw that when Data was saying about, no, you're the one that's basically was saying that Armus was the one that had killed somebody, not himself. That immediately took me back to the gun issue, and Armus was basically using Data as a gun.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Or in this case, a phaser.
well, yeah, but I mean, there's this big debate about guns and like guns are evil and all this lot. No, they're not. And
They're
I
tools.
read a line in one of the books I'm addicted to, and one of the characters says it's the person wielding it. I would have been the one that shot you. I would have been the one that killed you, not a piece of metal. And that took me straight back to what Data was saying. And that for me is a very important message of any weapon. And that's all Armus was using Data as a weapon.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't have been Data's fault. He was not in control. It was Armus that was in control. He was the one that was the threat.
Isn't it interesting though that through Star Trek you can get little bits and pieces of reality just through an episode like that? I mean,
Yeah. There's
even
always
even
bits of
though
reality. You see, this is one of the things I love about Trek is
Mhm.
there is so much reality in so many of the episodes, almost every episode that's ever been aired.
Mhm.
And sometimes that the message of reality is blatant, it is plain to see. But other times there's a lot of layers on top of that message, and you've got to delve deep for the true message of it.
I in this instance, I agree with you, Katie. Data was a tool, right? Period. Data was a tool.
Yeah.
In the larger context of guns, though, and my father's a gun owner. I used to be a gun owner when I was an armed inmate guard. I had to not only wear but qualify with a firearm every 6 months. You know, you're required to do that. So I'm certainly comfortable around guns. That's not the issue. But there are people that probably shouldn't, because a gun, like anything else, is a tool, right? Like a car, like a knife,
Mhm.
used properly and used, for what they're meant to be used for. A car is meant to get you to work. A gun, either for hunting or protection. A knife to cut things. But if I took that car, I could run it into a crowd of people, right? If I was that kind of person, I probably shouldn't have a driver's license. If I'm a schizophrenic that has violent tendencies, maybe I shouldn't own a gun, right? I
Or
think,
maybe you should.
huh?
I said, or maybe you should.
Ouch.
No, I think that there are times when, for example, if you're a convicted pedophile, you spend time in prison, you get
Wood
out.
chipper.
Maybe becoming an elementary school teacher isn't the job for you, right? Maybe
Yeah, wood chipper. Wood chipper would be the job for you on that one.
maybe if you knocked over a 7-Eleven and robbed a couple of banks and you went to prison, maybe coming out you shouldn't own a gun. I think there are situations where people. Let me put it a different way. If you have epilepsy, uncontrolled epilepsy, you cannot get a driver's license. And it's not a punishment. It's not to say you are a bad person because you have epilepsy. No, it's to protect the people, not the least of which is to protect the person, right?
I will be the
Yeah.
first to say I have been declared medically unfit to drive. And that is because of a condition I suffer. It's called POX, and that is postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. And usually it happens when I stand up, but I can sit here just talking to you and I will go so dizzy and I can just randomly lose consciousness. And that is why I have been declared medically unfit to drive. Also, I believe that if we had the same like gun freedom that you lot have across here, because of my mental health, I don't think I should be allowed to own a gun.
Hi, Travis.
And that, Travis, and I think that's where I'm going with that. People who have say, paranoid schizophrenia or have other mental health conditions, they're not bad people. You can't be bad because you have a mental health. That's a mental health issue, just like a physical deformity or anything else. You're not a bad person. Denying that person a gun is not a punishment. It is to say, just like a person with epilepsy shouldn't have a driver's license, a person with a certain, a certain psychosis probably shouldn't have a gun. And it's not a cruelty; it's a kindness. Because a lot of times those people don't shoot other people; they shoot themselves. It really. I mean, I think responsible. I don't like the word gun control. I think gun laws. If you're just a normal, regular, everyday person, no criminal record, have a gun. Just be responsible. Learn how to use it. Be responsible. Lock it up. Do what you need to. I think that's perfectly fine. I think that is Second Amendment, perfectly fine. But there are some rules, right?
There's a problem with trying to restrict ownership, though. You make it a lot easier for those who shouldn't or probably shouldn't have a weapon be able to get that weapon, because the black market is always going to be there.
Well, the black market, but there are plenty of people that have killed, like mass gun shootings in the U.S. were people who bought the guns legally. Most of them,
most of them,
most of them bought the gun legally, and most of them had a past history that should have prevented them from having a gun.
But what I'm saying is they would still, if they want to get a gun, they're going to get the gun. It doesn't matter.
Well, yeah, we have DUI laws, and every day people get arrested driving drunk, right? Does that mean we should get rid of DUI laws?
No. You could 3D print a gun now and use ice bullets.
It's the same thing. You can make the same argument. Hey, well, people still drink and drive even though we have laws, so why bother with the law?
That is illegal. People still commit murder.
I would actually say get rid of DUI laws, because the enforcement of it and the investigation process of it is so. It's just so bad and invasive of your rights as a human being that it's subjective.
I think
it's
Travis
highly
wants to
subjective.
say something. He's got his hand up. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, before that, who knows? Just one little scene erupted in this conversation.
I was going to ask, how did any of this related to Skin of Evil or Star Trek? I don't know what y'all talking about. It's probably
you know that tar bitch be driving without a license, so we had to bring it up.
I think what happened was we got on the tangent of data being used as a tool by Armis to kill everybody, and so we ended up gravitating towards
right before he popped in. That's where it started to go.
Guns don't kill people; people kill people, and then that's where
it was kind of my fault. I started that tangent.
It's a good tangent.
It's a good tangent. It's worthy of technically Trek.
Oh, really? Okay. I know your guys said y'all have missed me and and everything else and stuff. And I've been doing my best to rejoin, the fam and everything else and stuff and everything. And I do enjoy these little, Trek tech talks and stuff and everything else, because it's right up my alley too,
So glad
we have missed you, my darling. We really have. You are so loved and you are so missed, and I just want to hug you so much right now.
Oh,
And he's going to be my husband, so of course I love him. Give me a break.
well, you know what? Today was a pretty
Ex-husband.
interesting day for me. Not to get off
Future.
subject at hand, Dave, but I felt so manly today. You know why?
What?
There.
I drove my first forklift.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I felt like Tim Allen. I felt like Tim
They're
Allen. I
fun.
was like,
And it's fun.
They're fun, aren't they?
Oh, they are. Especially when you crash into a pallet. That is just so fun.
Oh, I worked with a guy that actually he drove his forklift right through the side of a trailer.
Oh no.
See,
Yeah.
maybe he shouldn't have a driver's license. You see how he fit into that?
Well, I think he lost his pit license, and
I
then I
would
think he
think,
got
yeah.
fired.
At
have y'all
Office
ever wondered in Star Trek, do you need a license to fly a starship or shuttlecraft?
Well, yeah, you need your pilot's license.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Tom. Yeah, there's been several episodes of Voyager where Tom said he had to get a pilot's license, and that one episode where he was hot dogging it in the Delta Flyer.
I remember that.
That one guy said, "You are not going to be allowed to fly anywhere in this sector." Blah blah blah. It's like, oh, whatever. I'm going to be gone in a couple of days. You're going to be in my rearview mirror. Or what would be a rearview mirror for a starship? Just a
backup
Rear view camera. Yeah.
Sonar. I don't know. Radar.
But no, you need to qualify to be a pilot.
Yeah.
And you need to go through the ranks. And
but I think everybody most likely is training, just basic, piloting. Because, I mean, you've seen Dr. Crusher, pilot of shuttlecraft, engineers.
She's also a commander. She's a full commander, though.
That's true. She was a full commander until we seen at the end of season 3 of Picard, she became an admiral.
Well, yeah, but in Next Generation, she was a full commander.
Yes.
And at the end of actually season 7, there were 7 seasons, right? Or is there? Okay, towards the end of season 7, Deanna Troi became a full commander.
Yes.
So, to my reckoning, even if you include Troi, that's only 3 full commanders on the entire ship, right?
Yeah.
You have Captain Jean-Luc Picard, Commander William Riker, Commander Beverly Crusher, and Commander Deanna Troi.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think if I've seen 3 full pips on anybody else there, but I'm thinking, yeah, your guys are right.
So I would think to be a commander, there might be, you might need to know how to fly a ship, right? That might be a qualification. So maybe know how to work a shuttle, how to fly a ship, how to do, Deanna Troi had to go through quite a bit. If you remember when she was going from lieutenant commander to commander, it was really funny when she told Data, "You can call me sir." I love that.
Yes, that was
that's a good line.
I think to some degree throughout the academy you have to have basic flight training, and then like as you go up through the ranks, you'll have like flight training that's a little bit more in depth, and then if you want to go down the route of actually being a pilot, you'll go through like your full flight training.
Could you imagine being in space and then not knowing how to fly?
Yeah, I think it might be like basic training, like you might be a cook in the army, but you're still going to go through rifle training, right? Through basic.
Yeah.
And so you're going to get that training. It might be the same. If you work in space, you might need like a baseline level of
knowledge.
Yeah, how a starship works, how the con works.
Well, the Titan A cook was sitting at the con in Picard.
Yeah,
and he's like, I'm just a cook, but he's sitting in the driver's seat.
Yeah, this is what I mean. I think when you go through the academy, you do get basic flight training, and because it's required. Because in an emergency, you can be called upon at any given time, so you need, at the very least, the basics. You may not be as good as Erica or Tom, or what, but you have the basic flight training there.
Now,
Do you want to know why I could never
I
be
think
a
Lavorge is
space? I could never be a space trooper. Travis, you completely missed this. I am so stupid. I put a Band-Aid on the wrong finger.
huh?
You're gonna
Starship.
hold up.
yeah. Zach missed that part too.
Oh
So
yeah. Okay. Well, I was cleaning something. I don't know if you can see it, but I got a nice little cut right here. It's a paper cut. You know, it hurts like motherfucking
Oh
hell.
yeah.
You see
It's
that?
on the right. It is on the right finger though.
It's yeah. No. I put a Band-Aid on this fucking finger, not this
Oh,
one.
I meant
So
the cut.
I was after I cut my finger, it hurt really bad, and I washed my hands, and I got trying to get ready for the show. I was late for the show. Grabbed the box of Band-Aids sitting right up here, and then I got the antibiotic ointment out, and I put the antibiotic and I put on the Band-Aid, and we started talking, blah blah blah. And, ow, it still hurts. Put it on the wrong fucking finger. It's this finger, not this one.
Boy,
He
Tyson,
still hasn't put
ground.
one on.
yeah, that
And
that
and you
broke-
just kept the Band-Aid on the wrong
I
finger.
tried to pull it off, but it's stuck.
but-
Get out the baby oil. It's time for a Diddy White party.
I was gonna say let's not do the baby oil.
Oh boy.
I have won the Dingbat Award for tonight.
yeah, but no, Katie was so broken she had to actually turn off her mic and her camera.
Yeah,
Really?
lost it.
I missed a great
I
deal.
really did. I had to brush my hair. I had to sort myself out. I was falling sideways. I was so broken. It was unbelievable. It kind of reminded me of that Twitter space we was on where I was a co-host for Cassie and I was unable to mute my microphone. That's kind of like how broken I was. It was like for about 5-10 minutes. But luckily this time everything worked and I could mute myself and take myself off camera because I really was a mess.
Tyson, you know what
But
you need for
he
your
was
favorite?
there during the realization. See, I didn't realize I'd done that yet. And it was right as I was talking, I'm like, ow, it still hurts. And I'm like, oh, like she watched my face as I said, oh, I put the Band-Aid on the wrong finger. Like she was there for the realization and the vacant look of lack of IQ all over my face as I realized
Tyson, listen to
Yeah.
this. You should have had a dermal regenerator. That would have healed up real quick. Just
the wrong
Yeah.
fucking finger, and then what good would that have done? That's my point.
Yeah, but-
So the finger was injured. I wrapped the damn wrong one. Now I can't take the Band-Aid off. It's one of those really thick, sticky ones.
Either that or you just have your personal the doctor.
Yeah, I know, but now I realize I cut my driving finger.
Let me ask this question to the
I
whole
think
room.
you should be
You
devoted
just
to
use one?
I gotta ask this question to the whole room.
In the U.S., we use one. We don't use two.
Let me ask this question to the whole room because back to the subject at hand, and we were talking about shuttles and the shuttle that crashed on the planet with Armis. Could y'all just think about this? When shuttlecraft approach a planet, they approach at a steep angle or they try to level out their, descent. You see where the shuttle crashed and how it was banged up. I don't think that pilot was too, I can't say he came into a soft landing.
He was sprawled over the controls with blood all over the place. So.
That's what I'm saying.
A 1950s technology has apparently been forgotten by the year 23, whatever. It's called a seatbelt, right? I've never seen a shuttle pod with a seatbelt. Even though it's ancient technology, it works. You see them fly across the cabin and over on the thing. Fuck, we even have airbags now. Yay, 2020. We have airbags. They don't have any.
This is what
Tyson's stuck in 2020.
But in the timeline movies, they have seatbelts. They have harness that goes round them in their seats.
Oh yeah, chick, 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 click, click, holds you and everything. But apparently a shuttlecraft doesn't have this because a starship that's really big. Think of like, do you really need a seatbelt if you're an 18-wheeler? If you get in a crash with a Camry, you're not going to be the one that goes flying. The guy in the Camry is in pretty deep shit, right? If you're in a shuttle, you need that seatbelt. Maybe not on a starship, but in a fucking shuttle, you need a seatbelt. Yet, what do we see? Starships with seatbelts, shuttles with nothing.
And
Just around.
the funny irony of that is small buses have seatbelts and big buses don't.
That is true.
That's true.
Oh,
But for good reason. It's a big bus. Seatbelts are less likely.
Yeah, you're not going to get them all.
The
have a
smaller the
seatbelt
vehicle, the more necessary the seatbelt. That's why I'm saying the shuttlecraft, you don't have a airbag, you don't have a seatbelt, you don't have any kind of. You're in a. I mean, look at the space shuttle. You think they don't have seatbelts?
Anybody ever watched the
There's
movie?
not even airbags.
Have anybody ever watched the movie? Oh shoot, what was that movie called? With Sylvester Stallone and Wesley Snipes in the
Demolition Man.
Demolition Man.
Yeah.
When he crashed in that car and it looked like
And
a
it
giant
foamed.
foam. It like foamed up and everything else. He's like, oh my! I was like, is that what they use it in the future? A giant foam that just surrounds you to keep it, you from
Right?
place? I'm like, okay, but it's kind of hard to get out of that. Hopefully, you be able to breathe.
Yeah, for some reason he could breathe when it happened, so it created like a pocket of air around him.
Yeah,
But a shuttle with not even so much as a lap belt. I
I
don't
know, that's horrible.
even the runabouts don't have seatbelts or anything.
Yeah, I mean, did it cost that much for Paramount to put in a fake fucking seatbelt?
Right?
Was it a cost issue?
It wasn't in the budget.
You see, I understood it less when I saw the Kelvin Timeline movies because, like I say, they have really good seatbelts. It's like a harness that goes around them, and like, all right, that's a different timeline, but even still, what the hell happened to seatbelts? And it's.
Right?
It bothers me.
Yeah.
Back
Yeah,
to Star
Dave,
Trek. Speaking of
Bill-
There was
No
minimal
problem.
plant life. Data
Speaking of the Kelvin
confirmed that there was
timeline.
minimal plant life, and that's why there was still oxygen to breathe. And he said
Why-
that it was enough to sustain them. So even though there was hardly any plant life, there was some form of flora there.
Yeah.
Well, you don't need
why is
for oxygen. H2O is part oxygen, part hydrogen, and it's abundant throughout the universe. It's very possible that a planet could have lots of oxygen and no plant life to generate it, because oxygen is not an element that needs to be generated by plants. It's an element that exists in nature already. It exists in the universe. It's there are elements that like carbon monoxide and things like this that living creatures give off. But I think even that might be. I forget what it was on Mars. They were looking for a particular sulfite or something that would be indicative of life, that wouldn't be there if there wasn't life. And I can't remember.
I know what you're talking about, Tyson. I can't remember either. I know what you're talking about, though.
Yeah, but I don't think you need plant life to have oxygen. I think that a planet could
photosynthesis is a great way of producing oxygen and recirculate.
But if oxygen exists in
Maybe
space,
Artemis needed oxygen, so he created it.
Well, that brings up another thing when later on when we find out that the original inhabitants abandoned him on the planet. Where are the structures?
Right.
Like,
well, I mean, hold on. They didn't say that they lived on that planet or evolved on that planet. They said they left him on that planet. So they might have been a spacefaring spacefaring civilization that
But he did call them the Varga.
Yeah, he did, didn't
I'll be back, guys. I'll be back very shortly.
he?
He right.
You're right. He did. And, I mean, when him and Picard was talking and stuff and everything, you could see, you was understanding him. But
For me,
him, when he was talking to Deanna could sense, his hatred, you could say.
Mm-hmm.
Where did Dave go?
I'm right here.
Yeah.
He just
Yeah.
circled the room.
Speaking of
Well, then
H2O,
yeah. Speaking of H2O, I needed to get a bottle of water.
Hey, there you go. Always hydrate, everybody. I tell you. Let
Well,
me tell you.
especially at this altitude.
Absolutely. Here on the east, me and Mala, we here on the east, and I don't know about up in Canada, but even Zach, I forgot. Zach is in Indiana. Yeah.
But no, say the weather's just been kind of zit, zit, zit. It doesn't know what
Yeah.
to do, and we had like the last 2 days, and I've actually had other customers make the same comment that their their noses are just running amok too. So it's just like it's not just me. So it's definitely the weather around here just has gone cuckoo.
Oh yeah.
that's how it is in the Ohio River Valley area too. Is you just stuck in
Right.
that valley, so yeah, we're all over the place. Like
Zach,
today, it was
you live on the Ohio River Valley?
yeah. I live right on the river.
Oh, you do? Okay. I mean, I'm right there on the Ohio River Valley,
Yeah,
right
yeah.
between
So
Ohio,
you know,
Kentucky, and West Virginia.
yep. So you know exactly how it is with the weather. I mean, like today, it got up in the 80s the last couple days.
Let me tell y'all this. I was driving up this dangerous road. It's called Route 2, and it gets close to the river. You can see the river and stuff. It gets sometimes dangerously close to how they built it and stuff and everything else.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get close to the riverbanks and stuff, especially having high moistures and all the other stuff and everything, fog develops. And let me tell you, the fog that develops on that road, it is so bad that I was turning into the road that goes into my work a couple mornings ago, and there was like this truck went into the ditch or something, like it was like an accident or something. I mean, it's so bad. It can be so bad on a riverbank that if you're not careful, I mean, yeah, I see every day. I see roadkill every day, and it is just crazy. It is absolutely crazy, and that road is very dangerous. Somebody like passed me up because I was behind somebody, and I guess we was going too slow for them. I'm like, hey, I ain't passing nobody up on this road.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I'm crazy. I'm like, nope, oh no. There's been people who've been hit and killed. Nope, nope. That's not me.
Phil and I being in Ontario, we're right in between Lake Erie and Lake Ontario, so we get a lot of fog. It's treacherous.
And you get that lake effect snow when that comes.
Oh,
it's winter.
Yeah.
From two fronts.
Oh,
yeah.
Lake Erie is about a 4.5 hour drive from here, so I can hit Lake Erie, within less than 5 hours.
So I'm coming from the opposite direction, about 5 hours. I'd be at Lake Erie.
Okay. Hey, Dave, I'm
Yes,
glad
sir.
that you keeping these tech spaces going and everything else. What's going to be the next? Oh my goodness! I forgot.
Yeah, tonight.
What do you mean tonight?
Oh,
nerds.
Lower decks.
Lower decks.
Lower decks
midnight
starts
tonight.
Tonight
at midnight. Yep.
midnight Pacific, so 3 Eastern.
But I'll be in the bed because I'm gonna be. We're in different time zones, so I'm gonna be in the bed by the time that comes on, and I really want to see it so bad.
I'm probably gonna.
Something to watch tomorrow for me.
I
Yeah,
won't be
but-
watching until before the show next week.
Okay.
Well, how come?
Okay. Well, it's supposed to-
tomorrow's Thursday. Episodes 1 and 2 are so it's going to be 2 episodes we're going to talk about next week. So Dos Cerritos and
So
Shades
nerd
of
out.
Green.
it's going to be interesting to know that this is going to be the final season for them. You know,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, but
But
let's
then-
have fun. Let's talk trick.
Oh yeah,
I'm
let's say
Yeah, but then they're going into section 31.
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's going to be coming up like sometime in January, maybe. So that's going to be that's going to be the stopgap between Lower Decks and hopefully Strange New Worlds. My theory is
Mhm.
that they're going to start airing Strange New Worlds on around February.
Yeah.
And then they've got the Academy one coming out.
Yeah, that's probably not going to
Oh,
come out
yeah.
for at least another year,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
No.
apparently,
or at least the end of next year at the earliest.
Well, apparently Robert Picardo is going to be in.
I saw that. Yeah, I saw that. He was at the New York City Comic Con. And
You
they
know-
unveiled the crew.
The Section 31 trailer, it really didn't. It kind of rubbed me the wrong way in some ways. I looked at it and I was just like,
I haven't seen it.
the trailer dropped, and it dropped some months ago, and back in
Well, there's been a couple of them. There's a new one that came out within the last week or so, which I'm just like, we'll see what
I'll have
happens.
to look them up.
Yeah,
and watch them.
I'm trying not to
Seeing
be
as though
too
this
hard.
is like technically Trek, can I just share something with you all?
Go
Go
ahead.
for it.
Huh?
In just over 2 weeks, I will be going to Comic-Con. And tomorrow, I will be getting autographs and photos for Melissa Navia and... Well, what's his name, Marla? Babs?
Oh, Babs O. I can't pronounce his last name without sounding rude.
Dr.
but,
Mabanga.
they are
Thank you.
Erica Ortegas in Strange New Worlds and the Doctor in Strange New Worlds.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm very excited to not only be meeting John Barrowman and 2 others from Torchwood, but I will also be meeting 2 of the people from Strange New Worlds as well.
Is it Dr. Umbega?
Mbega,
Yes.
yeah.
Dr. Umbega, yeah. So I'm very excited about that.
That's good. Well,
Oh, hold on.
that's
I'd
good.
love to meet Jess Bush.
No, I'm not too crazy about meeting her.
I like her. I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry, but I much prefer Melissa.
Ugh.
Melissa's more my type. And what's her name?
Did I hear
Like,
Jeb Bush?
Jess
Jeb
Bush.
Bush. What
Oh.
is this? Porno 2000? What?
Strange New Worlds. Nurse Chapel. Meow.
Hey, man.
How did that happen? Wait, where did Jeb Bush come into this?
Jess. J.
Oh,
Yes.
And Jeb Bush. I'm like,
No,
I was
no.
just making a Jeb Bush joke.
That's what I thought. Oh
Jeb
boy.
Bush.
Oh boy.
He made a very unsuccessful run
Very
for
what's his
president.
name? What's his name?
That's cute. Dad.
What a webkin.
That's cute.
What's a webkin?
No one has seen Justice Bush.
No,
Webkin. I used to work there. I created their Mac tech support
for what now?
for Webkins. See the little W on his paw?
Mm-hmm.
It's a Webkin by Gantz.
Oh,
I used to
yeah,
work-
it's a game.
Ooh.
It's a stuffed dog that I got at the haunted house I went to on Friday.
Oh, that's the one they gutted.
Yeah,
Okay,
some
wait a
assembly required
Wait a minute. You went to a haunted house
on
where
Friday.
they gave out stuffed animals?
Gutted
Just
stuff.
did-
Haunted
Gutted
house
stuffed
around-
animals.
They got him.
That's my kind of haunted house. I want to go to
Yeah.
a haunted house and get all the stuffed animals.
Now, we had a restaurant here in San Diego
Got
called
it.
Pinnacle Pete's. And at Pinnacle Pete's, if you go to the restaurant, it's like a cowboy restaurant. If you go in there with the tie, they bring out the scissors and they cut off your tie and they hang it on the wall of shame. And there are lots of ties all over the damn restaurant. And people sometimes bring in ugly ties because they know they're going to get their tie cut and stapled on the wall.
I assume there's a lot of cowboy butts.
A lot of what?
Cowboy butts.
Cowboy butts.
Hold on. Don't turn me on in the middle of a shutdown, Stanley. Down, Stanley.
I was gonna-
I thought you were gonna say butt plugs on this side of the entrance.
Whoa.
I was gonna make
That's going a little too far.
No, that actually happened to him.
a butt plug. Somebody had a butt plug.
Look on your face, Travis.
Wayward butt plugs. It was
Technically,
crazy.
truck just went X-rated.
I know. I'm just like, wait. We talk about hanging ties up and everything, and somehow.
I wasn't even going to bring up the fact that the one chest hair I have is named Cornelius, much less tell you the name of Stanley. Like the power drill, but that's a whole nother show.
But go ahead, Tyson.
The power drill, Stanley.
Stanley.
Oh, I was thinking the Ropers, Stanley and Helen.
Dave,
Sorry, buddy, they totally didn't get it. It was a compliment to you, and they're thinking of the Ropers. Oh, good. That brought them down. The Ropers. Gone. I am no more Homo erectus. I am now Homo dysfunction for the next.
Tyson, if you say Homo erectus, then that must be a triceratops.
You'll poke your eye out,
God.
kid.
Well, you got a big dick and two pointy tits. How does that work? I don't even know what triceratops.
Isn't that a Palmer?
Like a. I don't get it.
Triceratops. I'm sorry, I can't even say it.
That's the new Palmer.
Oh boy!
I just keep thinking of Madonna. Anyway,
Back to the episode.
Yes, I was going to say
Thanks.
something.
So much too.
Dave, now, do you have any info about the actor or the person that was in the armored suit? Or
Yes. Yeah, he actually played the Shellyak alien in Chains of Command.
Really? I did not know that.
I didn't know that till today myself.
I thought the Shellyak actor was just in a black sheet going.
Well, that was Armis too. He was in a. They were having so many problems with that outfit. They made a headpiece and then the body piece. The body piece kept on disintegrating, so they had to go through like tons of.
I want to know how they got Jonathan Frakes pulled into a black puddle of goop.
That
Was a stunt double.
That was gross.
Yeah.
And
But, yeah.
gag.
What La Brea Tar Pits? Where was that filmed? That was.
Yeah.
It was
he got spitted out. I mean,
They had to wash him like a baby duck in Dawn.
Yeah, they had like a gurney or a lift that was underneath that pull. It was Metamucil and black printer's ink.
Ew.
I hope it didn't get in his mouth.
Oh, some of it did.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
sure.
spits it
I'm
out.
sure.
Yeah,
And-
because you watched it go into the.
But
Right?
but the bit what I used for the image for the episode, the face, that was just a plaster mold of Frakes' face. That
Yeah,
kinda
it was
just
like
like-
his
Mhm.
Han Solo moment.
Yeah, but
Or
Lamar,
you say it's the orgasm face.
His old face.
Travis, I have had black in my mouth, so don't worry.
Oh my. Tyson doesn't discriminate.
We just went to triple X.
And we're back to the goo.
but no, they like.
Look at that! We just lost 10 viewers. Welcome.
Back to the
Oh.
goo is also phrasing.
But
Right?
but
always
it was
the
Frakes that was spat back out of the goop. But during it when the cameras got turned off, apparently LeVar just looked up. Frakes, even I wouldn't have done that.
Or
Wait,
he,
when I had black in my mouth and there was goop, I didn't spit. I swallowed.
oh, there, hey,
What
hey,
God
hey.
allowed?
Make that
You know
quadruple
what?
X, everybody.
With you,
Oh, we
Tyson.
just lost 10 more viewers. Oh, great. It'll be just us. Watch.
Look,
When word gets out, we'll gain 50. Don't worry.
my mama said always swallow. My mama said always swallow because spitting is tacky.
Oh my.
Oh my, indeed.
Oh,
No, I've
goodness.
always known it as swallow, don't spit because we don't like mess.
Blah. Blah.
We're
I'm
so bad.
fluid impaired, so I'm not even going to weigh in on this.
Before I go, and
And I'm a lesbian, so I really can't weigh in on this.
I got to get ready for my 6:30, and this, and I apologize. Just a heads up. I've only had one sexual encounter with a woman in my life, and I've been a slut. Like I've had lots of, so many, rainbow of people. I can't believe I don't have an STD. And like I was a whore.
I'm right there with you. I'm right there with you.
Thank you.
Hello.
I
We're hopping in, by the way.
don't know how
There
that
we
happened.
go.
No.
But
Hello.
How
but
you doing?
having said
Howdy.
that,
I'm
I
good.
just
I'm good.
one
Thanks.
woman one time ever in my life, and I don't know, like I don't know how things work, right? So I was narrated through the experience. Do this, put it here, do that, whatever.
Or
And
that's not it.
oh no, apparently, like I there was a lot of liquor involved, and apparently
Oh,
she thought I didn't. I did not, but she did. And this is what I didn't know. Like any other encounter, when it was done, I just pulled up my britches, left, and then I woke up the next day, and I had this crust on me that I have never seen in my life, and I'm like, what the hell is this? I've been in the shower for like 2 hours with a Brillo pad, right? Just like scrubbing the Teflon off. It was nasty. The woman said.
Thank you for that very informative, Tyson.
And with that,
That's Tyson's experience with so much goo.
At least
We have
at least
done.
it wasn't black goo.
Welcome to Technically Trek, people, the home of
We always get off track
Star
of
Trek.
Yeah, where there's nothing technical about it.
It's technically true.
It's off the rails track.
Yes,
There you go, Dave. There you
off
go.
the beaten track.
I think
Well,
we're
we
done
don't
with
really
the
make
first
nice
There
one.
you go, off the beaten track.
I mean,
Oh, look at that. We just
We're
made
done with the
Tyson
cores.
sort of
We're done with the cores. We're going to the
Oh,
Grey
it's-
Goose.
straight to the
Oh.
vodka.
hey, as they say,
Oh.
Tyson, they say in the
I
Tyson,
had to get. I had to just
Hey.
brought back memories. I had to get the taste out of my
you had to
mouth.
get that taste out of your mouth.
Yeah.
Right? Get that taste out of your
Hey,
mouth.
Grey Goose is for Mr. Fancy Pants over there. Grey Goose
Well,
is
what do you
awesome,
drink?
actually.
Smirnoff?
I love
Bleh.
Grey Goose. Grey Goose is awesome.
Grey Goose
Fine
is
taste.
gorgeous.
I just bought peach schnapps and I was a little overly excited about that.
Oh,
Oh, you
poor
love
people.
peach schnapps.
Y'all
I'm
behave.
such a pansy.
Dave's
You.
in recovery.
I apologize. That was inappropriate, Dave. I keep
Yeah,
forgetting.
see,
I
I
was
got
just
my
trying to
I
five.
think
get.
that was
Got my 5-month shit back
I was just
last
trying to get
night.
the taste out of my mouth.
hey,
Good job, Dave.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
I'm more
Right.
concerned with the fact that YouTube might shut you down for the Grey Goose.
Yeah.
oh, I've heard a lot worse on here.
We've said a lot worse on here.
That
yeah.
Grey Goose was a break glass in case of emergency moment. It was not a typical like. This is. I am
But
not
was
a.
it good?
Great Goose doesn't even
Was it,
sound
judging by the
appetizing.
hiccup?
It was. It
Judging
was.
by the hiccup, it was good.
It was good.
Just remember, Tyson. Anytime you get ready to do a toast, make sure you say bottoms up, and that's mean what happened in the gay bar.
You know, every I've been with a lot of service members, and I'll tell you, the Coast Guard tend to be tops, but boy, those Marines are bottoms. Mm.
Damn.
Good
Oh,
intel to know.
oh boy.
So, oh, never mind.
I am so sorry.
Anyways, back
Yes.
to Skin of Evil.
So shall we get back to the episode, people? Maybe this is a good time before
I took
Tyson
notes,
throws up
too.
all over
Me
camera.
too.
That's good.
And
That's
Did
nobody's
good.
anyone
watching
notice
now,
Worf's
so I'm
makeup?
sorry. I'm so sorry.
It was like mega pancake. Worf's makeup.
Oh,
And it was blotchy. They like missed
Oh, yeah,
spots
especially down the
everywhere.
side of his neck.
Yeah, at his
Oh.
neck and by his nose and right under his eyes.
Yeah, the makeup for Worf was.
It was so
really
bad.
wasn't
Oh, it's
good
changed
in,
over time. Yeah.
like
Oh,
the first
yeah.
couple of seasons. There was a lot of issues. I mean, I saw some issues, not in this episode, I don't think. But I like the first 2 or 3 seasons, I saw issues with Data's makeup as well.
Mm-hmm. And
I think
the graphics, though.
Mhm.
I feel like
when-
it was a trial run. Season 1 was like a trial run for
Yeah.
them
It was.
to try
Yeah.
to try to see, what looked good on camera for them, and then what from after the editing and everything else and stuff, and when they going into season 2, you could tell the difference, and then in season 3 you could see like, yeah, because they went back and they looked at their own work and stuff, and they said, I think we could have done this a little bit better. Let's see what we can do, these little touch-ups and stuff and everything, because you could see the evolution, the evolutionary track in both Worf and Data's, like Michael Dorn and Brent, makeups and stuff and everything else, because it's like Michael Dorn, in a sense, my brothers always said, why does he always look like he have an ass on his head? Stuff, be like, I mean, I was like, I don't know, he's a Klingon. Maybe they got their, head up their ass. I don't know. But anyway.
I mean, they kind of do.
But you can see, like I said, to me, season 1 was like a really trial and error. That I know that they knew that, the makeup wasn't to their liking, but like a lot of people go back and look and be like, oh wow, you could tell their makeup was just a kind of bit off, just a tiny bit.
Yeah. It was
Speaking
funny.
of makeup, though, one thing that I did pick up on, and if nobody else picked up on this, I'm very disappointed, but when they got Tasha back to the ship, she had the most fake blood splat on her cheek.
I was trying.
Yeah.
It was also black and then red, but yeah.
I think that was like it's supposed to be a red bruise because it wasn't even close to blood. I mean, I don't even think they were.
I think it was supposed to be the mark of Armis.
Yeah, maybe it was that.
That wasn't on her cheek when they were on the planet.
I think it was.
Yeah, it
But on
was.
the planet, it was
Yeah, I
black,
think it
and
was
then
the
when they
mark of
got there,
Armis.
it was red. But, yeah.
Character
Yes,
development,
it
though,
changed
through the
colors.
series, it's not just the character development. I mean, Data Brent Spiner physically changed. Now, an android doesn't change, but he did physically change. I've had this experience. There was a guy I knew, and 10 years later, I saw him, and I'm like, I recognize your face, and he said, you should. You sat on it.
By the way,
I remembered his face.
Slurp. We're back to the slurps.
by the way, speaking of
Body
things,
it was. Sorry, go ahead.
speaking of things to pick up on, did anyone else notice that when I think it was, I forget if it was when Riker was pulled into the black ooze or when he came out, Geordi dropped his
Visor.
thing. Not his visor,
Oh, yeah.
his phaser or something on his
Oh.
side into the puddle.
Yeah.
Right at that moment,
Yes,
I was
I
like,
noticed
I was
that.
expecting
I think I
somebody to
remember
say
that.
something, but I think
I
that
didn't
was a
notice.
mistake. No one said anything. I'm like, right into the.
They're like, oops.
And no one said or knows anything. I thought, did even the editors not pick up on that? Like, It's so obvious.
I
like,
noticed that because it was like right on the edge of the black goop.
yes,
Mhm.
yeah. But it
Yeah.
just landed inside it. It was just like,
I'll be right back. I have to go pay the rent.
okay.
I thought he had.
No.
I thought he had RadioNet, but maybe he's gonna do both.
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
know. But one thing I thought was really funny is I remember watching it the first time around and how it looked like so amazing.
Me
And
too.
now looking back at it, the graphics are just funny. It's
Yeah.
It's
You
20
know,
years after
camping.
after TOS, and I thought some of this still feels a little like when they walked onto that
The
set. I thought, was this a
that
leftover
plant.
set from TOS?
right.
Yeah, same.
I
I
think it
got it
was,
right
actually.
right on my notes.
Yeah.
Planet Berry TOS.
Yeah, very much so.
That's good, Dave. That's good.
Like
So
styrofoam
very.
rocks and
That's good. You know, you look at it like this. You look at it too like this: the evolutionary, of Star Trek as we know it, from the '60s, the '80s, and the '90s, and now we see like people are used to seeing, with right now we didn't have back in the '80s and the '90s, somewhat in the '90s, you could say, didn't have such high tech way of making it look realistic as possible, and a lot of stuff was practical
But at the
effects.
time, it looked amazing.
But that's kind of where Star Trek becomes Star Trek. Like that's what made it was that
Exactly.
practical effect. Yeah.
Yes, and people now they're people are in not just Star Trek alone, but like people are used to special effects, like editing green screen and blue when they use blue screen,
oh,
green screen,
sure,
stuff like that.
We're
People
spoiled.
graphics
people
are
are
all.
people
Mhm.
yeah, people are spoiled,
Yeah.
and stuff, because like look at they used to have models for starships or ships in general. They used to have models and stuff and everything else.
Yep.
They're practical effects and stuff.
Yeah.
The Enterprise D itself, it was said to be like over 6 feet long or something, and it
They
weighed
have
about
5 models for that.
yeah,
show.
and it was so big that they actually had it flipped upside down, and they took a camera and they just rolled the camera around it when it was upside down. You look at it like that.
It was so top heavy. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and just looking at that too, they had like
Yes.
say what they were to do Armis in today. They wouldn't do a person in what were you saying? What were you saying that he was Dave? He was in what kind of
They
costume?
did, Katie.
Oil slick or
Yeah. It would be like CG. It
Metamucil
would
and
be CGI.
black printer's ink.
Yeah, it would be CGI stuff like that. You do it with CGI and stuff and everything. You won't do it with like practical effects with a actor in costume and stuff and everything. You just be like, oh, let's just put like all these dots and stuff and everything, and then we'll just stick it in CGI.
I was even at the time that I watched it. Even I can still remember the first time I watched it, and I thought to myself, why did they just put a man in like a plastic bag in this black goo? Why did they not use a rod puppet or something that they could just from behind manipulate, which probably wouldn't have been any more or less expensive for something like that. But I just always thought it was odd that they just made this put a man in a bag and kind of stuck him in the black goo. But,
well, what are your guys' thoughts? Because like Mala and Katie have been kind of talking back and forth to say what the dilithium crystals in that one scene early in the episode, like was it
They did look.
Himalayan pink salt, rose quartz? Was it something?
I've got one of those on my bedside that lights up at night.
Yeah, I've got a Himalayan salt lamp in my living room. But yeah, when I first saw it, I thought it looked like the Himalayan salt, like a big thingy of it. But then in the next thing, it looked a bit more polished. It looked a bit more like rose quartz.
Right.
And yeah, I'm just wondering exactly what they used for the dilithium crystals.
Yeah, that's a good question, because I mean, I just remember it just seemed rather big.
Yeah.
To be dilithium crystals.
Well, I mean, when you're shoving something in that warp core, it's got to be pretty big.
Hasn't been refined yet. They just put it in raw.
Yeah.
Put it in raw. Ouch.
Okay, that came out right.
Oh,
I guess
don't
that's
make-
why it wasn't recommended.
Yeah.
Oh,
Sorry.
I
but
love you.
I love you too. You guys are awesome.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see how the analytics work out for this episode because it's been an interesting conversation, to say the least.
Say the least.
Because, like right now, I looked at the previous episodes before tonight, and the most popular episode was the discussion about the ascent. The average view time was 57 minutes.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay.
okay.
There is one thing that I
Well-
wanted to bring up.
Go.
When they were trying to get around the black sludge before they realised it was Armus,
Mm-hmm.
they tried going one way, then they tried going the other. Why didn't they think to split up?
That crossed my mind too. That would have been like the third option. You go that way, I'll go this way.
Yeah.
That's,
That's
Yeah.
one thing that's always bothered me about that scene. You know, if you're moving as a group and Armor Sludge is moving with you, and then you go the other way and it follows, the logical thing to do is split up.
I never thought of
Hmm.
that.
I suspected
I
as
was-
much too. You know.
And-
I mean, obviously it wasn't in the script, but you know,
Yeah.
any logical person would have thought, you know, oh, split up, go different ways, see what happens. But it never even crossed their mind.
And why couldn't they just beam people like closer to the shuttle?
Well,
because of the
Interference.
force field that Armor set up.
What
That's
what
why they
about
Diana?
beam them on the other side of that little hill?
he had a scattering field like surrounding.
Oh.
Yeah, it's some sort of scattering field that prevented them from locking on to, you know.
They couldn't do any beaming. Yeah.
Yeah.
They need tasers in the future just for like beings like Armus.
I
They
didn't
tried. They,
Tase him.
worked. Literally, the only thing that worked is an emotional assault on him. Getting him basically like a full blown counseling session that was like really brutal.
'Cause they said-
against
yeah.
everything. You know, that is literally the only thing that got to him.
he was absorbing the phaser's energy. They said the phasers weren't doing any good, and then he was absorbing it. So anything would
Yeah,
have just
and that
been
is
like,
because
yeah.
it was a negative form of. In my opinion, that whole thing where he was absorbing the phaser energy, it wasn't just the fact that he was absorbing energy, it was like a negative form of energy. They were trying to take him down. And
Kelly.
if they had just continued being negative and
They should have
know.
beamed him into space.
and if they continued to abuse him and demean themselves, that was another form of negative energy. But when it came to actually dealing with his emotions, he was weakened by it.
Mm-hmm.
I think they
I
should have
gotta-
just beamed his ass into space.
Hmm.
You
I got
wanna-
a little.
Let me help
I got a
you.
little something about how they probably got the dilithium to look the way it was. They probably just, from my little search that I was doing, they just used like glass or crystal props
Mhm.
and just
sure.
use
So
camera,
that
camera
might-
tricks.
Yeah, might have been Himalayan salts.
It could have
for all
been
we
him.
know.
Yeah, yeah. They
Pink
could have used
Himalayan
Himalaya
salt
pink
crystals,
salt.
big.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that brings up a good point. You know, could what was his name? Armus?
Armin.
Yeah.
Could he
Yes.
have been? Could they have got a transporter lock and just beamed him? As
In
No,
pure
space.
energy?
Scattering
I
field.
don't think they could have.
He wasn't registering on their instruments.
But he wanted them to transport him.
They
But
didn't
what-
try to
He did.
transport him, but he wasn't registering on the instruments and the scattering field that he had up. He was the central point of the scattering field. So
Once Tasha was dead, though, couldn't they have photoned his ass?
Did you?
It's basically being told that he's immortal.
Yeah.
It was said that he is immortal, and
True.
they destroyed the shuttle from space.
Yeah.
That was a
That's
huge
hilarious
nuke.
that it destroyed,
How
but
big is that?
Armor survived.
You can see on the screen. It might have been when you think of how big a planet is. That's like 5 cities they just
Ginormous.
See it
nuked
with a
in one
naked eye
shot.
in space. See it with a naked eye in space is something.
Yeah,
But yeah,
you know,
Alice is immortal, so
Yeah.
he
Mhm.
survived. He even survived the shuttle being
sure.
destroyed, and
but
it's like
what about the Q?
That's a good question.
I mean, if he's immortal, could the Q take him?
You know
They wouldn't care.
You what?
another species that I don't think anybody would really talk about. You remember the episode where the Enterprise arrived at a planet and they find it, decimated except for just a little few acres of
Yeah, the
house.
survivors.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So the gentleman he said he was an Adao who was
Endowed. Yeah.
a mortal being that lived in
Mhm.
the universe, stuff like that. And I'm thinking, wow, his thoughts destroy an entire species. And it's like, now he's more powerful than Armus.
That's fair.
Okay.
yeah.
Well, there was some language, but you know what? Screw the net here.
All right. Can I bring up another little thing that I actually sort of took note on this tonight, actually, and I think this comes down to the way we episodes are edited now, the way it was edited for commercials back then, and the way we watch shows now, because I thought there's a moment when Armus first started coming out of the goo, and as soon as he was coming out, it cut to a commercial break.
Yes.
And when it came back, Picard does his log supplemental, but then it cuts back and it's still rising out of the goo. I'm like, did he just run over and do a little quick recording somewhere and then zip back? Because it was just like in that quick moment he does, and it's a nitpicky thing, I know, but and I know it's obviously for the audience's purpose if they come back after commercial break to fill them in on what's going on. But it just seemed like such a weird place to do that right in the middle of.
I agree with you, and I have a nitpick for Katie, not Katie specifically, but for BBC America, which airs Next Generation.
Oh.
There was when you watch I Love Lucy way back in the late 50s, early 60s, the amount of commercial versus show, that balance has changed over time. We actually have more commercial time now than we did back then.
Yes.
For Next Gen, I think the episodes were about 42, 45 minutes.
40, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that allowed for about a quarter of the time, the 1 hour slot, to be filled with commercials. BBC America has more commercial than the show really allows for. So when you watch BBC America, they actually cut part of the show to air the episode. And a lot of times they cut the end, not the stuff in the middle. And so sometimes the end of the show is the moral of the story, right? It's the poignant,
Right.
it's the important part, and they tend to cut that.
Probably has something to do with the TV licenses.
Katie,
One thing that I just want to ask
Katie?
is why the hell does the BBC have commercials in America? Because we don't have commercials here. It is the BBC where we have to.
Ask Dave Prime about BBC America. They have commercials.
Oh, they do. They have lots of commercials.
It's because here in America they want to poison us.
The only commercials that we have on the BBC is there will be a commercial advertising like a BBC show just to separate each program. That is the only form of commercials that we have on any BBC channel, and we've got BBC One.
And that's what's unique about the United States. Notice when I say the BBC, in America, we have different channels, right? We have ABC, we have CBS, NBC. We have, and it's one channel per network. So ABC is one channel, CBS is one channel, NBC is one channel, etc. But BBC, there's BBC Two, there's BBC Three, there's BBC Four. Like, you have different BBC channels. That's not how it works in America. We don't have ABC One, ABC Two, ABC Three. You get ABC, that's it, or CBS, that's it, or NBC, that's it. Like, one channel per network.
We have an array of networks, whereas you're over there. It seems like it's a couple networks.
You have
And the
ITV, BBC, and it's just a very few.
Yeah,
They have Sky One and
And a lot
Well,
more
yeah, we
expensive.
have. I mean, our like what's known as terrestrial channels that like used to be we would
Broadcast.
BBC.
Kelly.
We would have ITV, but then we also had Channel 4 and Channel 5. E4 and More 4 that you can get on cable and satellite TV. That they are related to Channel 4, and then you've got like 5 USA and those relate. I think there's 5 Star as well. They're related to Channel 5. But we don't have half as many broadcasting channels here as you do. I mean, don't get me wrong, we have like cable TV. I've got cable TV. We have Virgin Media. And then we have satellite TV, which is Sky, and they have their own channels. Sky One, Sky Two, they have like Sky Atlantic, and
but I mean, there's different standards for the different channels. Like on ITV, that's where you're going to find Mrs. Brown's Boys. I know you're not a fan, but there's a lot of swearing and fuck off. They say that a lot, and BBC, on BBC it's a little more family. ITV, it can get a little raunchier. I mean, it's
Wow.
it all depends because like BBC One for us is like our main BBC channel, and the shows on there are kind of more family related. But then when you go over to BBC Two, it's a little bit more. There's a lot more diversity on there. And then with ITV, again, there's a bit more diversity, but a lot of that is family. And then, but when you get to Channel 4 has always been known here as the more outlandish TV channel. We used to air Big Brother on there. And more of your...
That's where Are You Being Served was BBC 4. And I remember that because...
Now, Are You Being Served was always on BBC 2 here.
Not when it originally aired. I mean, in the 70s, because I watched... I watched I watched a documentary on BBC documentary on Are You Being Served, and they wanted to pull it because they had an openly gay man, and Mrs. Slocum's pussy and everything else. It was considered a little too strong for BBC 1 or 2. In fact, the BBC, even considered pulling it all together, where ITV would have been more willing to accept. But that was in the 70s. Now, they have re-aired on BBC 2, but according to the documentary, I could be wrong, but the documentary said
originally it was on BBC 1 because back then we only had BBC and ITV. We only had a couple of channels. But back then... but when it got re-aired, it was on BBC 2 because it was more of an outlandish TV show, so it was more accepted. But there have been a lot of shows that have pushed a lot of boundaries with the BBC and with ITV. And it's just one of them. But I don't know where Star Trek was originally aired here.
Sorry about that. I have a temperamental pussy. I really liked Benny Hill was one of my favorite. I think
Yeah.
he was
No.
brilliant. Benny Hill was brilliant.
No,
And everybody in America,
Yes.
mispronounces Tim's. They always say Thames. It's not Thames. It's Tim's.
Thames.
Well, that's
But-
because we're retarded over here.
Well, in America, we pronounce things correctly. So,
Wow.
But sales.
but,
You
yeah,
say aluminum and it's not.
Myron.
It's freaking aluminium.
Mm-mm.
well, it's not aluminium. It's aluminum. What are you talking about?
I wouldn't
Aluminum.
call even I call it aluminium sometimes, just to piss people
Not
off more, but I
aluminium.
call it that.
no. So
Vitamins are vitamins, not vitamins.
speak.
Vitamin.
No,
This-
Jack,
That
this-
could be vitamin.
This is why we fought a war to kick you guys out of our country.
We
Yeah,
got
that's
more
the
than we
reason.
left you to
No,
it. So
that-
yeah.
that-
We
Nothing
might
to
be
do with-
retarded, but we aren't that
Nothing to do with
retarded.
taxation without representation. It was about
No.
pronunciation. That was it.
Exactly.
No,
It was all
no,
about
you didn't beat us.
pronunciation.
We just got bored and left you to it.
no, you
I got
talk about.
I got one thing to say. This it is 9:45, and it's getting past my bedtime. I'm getting ready to say I'm getting ready to eat to bed.
Don't leave just
Thank
yet, Trout, because you got to hear this joke because we're talking about Benny Hill and vitamins.
Oh,
There's this old Benny Hill joke. What's the difference between a vitamin and a hormone?
what?
You can't make a vitamin.
Oh! I love it. I mean, one of my favorite Benny Hill skits was the tea or coffee. Tea or coffee? Tea. She
Oh.
pulls out a tea bag.
Yes.
Sugar? Yes. She pulls out sugar cubes from her cleavage. Milk? No.
I remember that. I used to watch it on Channel 43 out of Cleveland. It always came on at 11:30 after Sanford and Son. Every night for years and years.
That theme song is forever in my head.
Oh goodness! Some of us showing our true age about watching stuff like Benny Hill, and it's like we got a few people here that are just too young to understand what we grew up with back in the heydays of like the late 70s and 80s and stuff and everything else. But yes, I love
Or Gen X television.
I like some
Can't
Sanford.
make a
and Son
vitamin.
songs.
I cannot get that
I used
out
to
of my
watch
head.
that.
That's
I used to watch
awful.
Sanford
Yeah,
and Son.
thanks for the earworm. I appreciate it.
Sanford and Son was really great. Aunt Esther, boy, oh boy, every time she came in, Fred, what one time Fred said, he walked in and he was just looking around. He just had a look on his face of life. I don't know. He was like, I feel like there's something ugly on the loose. He couldn't figure it because Esther was there, but he just sensed that something was wrong. And I guess the atmosphere was, for him. He just said, I felt something like that was ugly on the loose. He just couldn't put his finger on it.
They butted heads, those two.
Oh man, she said, "You fish eye fool." I'm like, oh my goodness. She said, "These heathens." I learned that word "heathens" from her. I was like, oh my goodness. I didn't know what that word was. I asked my mom, "What is a heathen?" She said, "Don't be saying that word, boy."
My ex, who is not from San Diego, by the way, there are racial slurs that were not known to him, and he was misinformed about the word pickaninny, and he yelled that word across me at Walmart, and I thought I was going to die. Like completely die.
Mortified.
He thought pickaninny was just like a dingbat or something. I'm like, no, that's not what the word means. He said that night, I just about melted in my skin. I'm like, stop. First of all, I'm on aisle 12 and you're on aisle 11. Stop yelling that across the aisle before we get shot.
Clayton's like, no.
Like, please don't.
People don't know. Like, if you don't know how an insult works, first rule of
What's it
insult,
mean?
make sure it's not racial. Like,
Yes.
yeah, dingbats fine, wingnut's fine.
It was like a cotton picking term.
Yeah, but he'd never heard the term, and he thought it just meant like a dingbat. And so, hey, where are you picking it? I'm like, oh my God. I don't know him. We've never met.
Be like, I don't know who this person is. You know, that's him. You know, let me get out of here. Let me just squeeze out.
Oh my God. I mean, it's like he couldn't have picked a worse. And we were in Santee, which is like not where you want to say that word. It's right up there with the N word in that part of town. And I'm like, okay, he's getting shot, and I've got to figure out how I'm getting home. Like, that's what went through my head.
Oh boy, the stories that we could tell each other is just unreal. At the we get so off track on stuff and everything else. But next week, I know we're gonna be definitely
Lower decks. Lower decks.
Lower deck. Lower deck. Lower deck.
Lower decks.
Lower
Lower
deck.
decks. Lower decks.
Nerd. No, I'm just playing.
And I
We're all
can't
nerds here.
Oh,
lower
boy.
dicks. Lower dicks. Sorry.
Better than higher ones, I
I'm
guess.
not gonna object to
Go
that.
dry out, kid.
What
I
what
mean-
about higher decks?
Well, no, you want them to get higher. That's the point.
Yeah.
Fluff them. Never mind. We're all way off topic. Anyway, I
mean, you talked
How high
about,
do you wanna
a
go?
teabag, Tyson, earlier. I like a teabag across my face.
Oh, I whoop, straight up.
Yeah.
As long as you clean. You might get a little sandpaper, but you know it's all good.
Y'all awful. But I'm
You
not
can always play
I'm not
Halo
get
too,
going because it is
So you
late.
groom the boys, but not your chin?
Oh no, I don't
Damn.
know. This is no.
Damn.
I got a shag carpet down there. This is no.
It's 1972 down there.
Right. You know what? You barely can tell I have hair, and I've never shaved in my life. You know,
Oh.
it's like, oh, look at that cute little. Oh, there's two of them. I mean,
It's just a little chip hat down there. But anyway,
and you know, we're crazy like that. Where you know, when I shower and I shampoo and condition, I also shampoo and
He
condition.
dreams of Jonathan
Because
Frank.
you gotta have it soft everywhere. Anyway,
So now we have to come back to Star Trek out of this. I
I was
don't-
gonna say lower
As
decks.
I
long
was
as
trying
you don't
to. I
move
was
into
trying
a
to
baby
Tyson
I was
history.
about to say lower decks start tonight.
lower
at-
dick starts with.
Right.
tonight.
Lowered.
Lower whatever.
Right after the StreamYard with Tyson and Travis.
And guess what
Say
tomorrow is?
lower decks and then yawn. I dare you.
Well, guess what tomorrow is, Tyson?
What's that?
Dave, you could tell. You know.
Happy birthday.
Oh, really?
Oh, it's your birthday?
Birthday.
My 46th birthday.
Youngin.
Oh my
Happy birthday,
God,
man.
girl, you're not even old
No.
enough to lie about your age yet. I hate you.
Today's my mom's 73rd birthday.
Well, you know, she lying about
Happy
it.
birthday to
You
her,
just-
too.
You're getting to the age, like before you hit that 50 mark, where you got to start going backward. You got to start counting backwards.
Okay, I'm
There's
back.
46 this year, and 45 next year, 44 next year. You got to,
So basically, you saying do a Benjamin Button?
yeah. Do you know I'm 35?
I
Well,
thought you were
Fuck up,
5.
that wasn't funny. I said I'm 35.
I thought you were. I don't know. I could have sworn you were 5.
oh,
I was
Fuck
helping
you!
out
I know
there.
what that means. That means I'm 76.
Like reverse dog
I don't
years.
even know anymore.
I mean, if I started when I was 40, never mind. The math doesn't help me. The point is, I'm 35.
Math
You're
doesn't
35.
help me.
well, you know what, Tyson? You look good for a 35-year-old.
Oh, and you look good for 44.
Oh,
I'm
I can't believe
you.
that
I'm
you're
sorry you
older
are.
than me, but look younger.
Well, no, but that's different because black don't crack. White, you know, I got so much lotion and so much product. Black people just.
I hear you,
well,
Tyson.
got it. Okay.
37 and I look older than
A
Travis.
little bit of that lotion because you know they're smashy, but that only
Feeling
happens.
to moisturize again.
So, yeah, I'll be 49 in just over 2 months.
What?
Yeah.
When did we all get so old?
Old
How are you
geezers.
maintaining all your hair
How old are you,
color? Like,
Zach?
I'm 96.
He's
That's
not
because
sick.
that's the
Oh, he's
baby.
going the other direction.
He's
going
lying
the
the
other
wrong way.
Well, guys, I gotta get
Probably
going.
I'm
It is
youngest
almost
one
10
here.
o'clock.
All right.
It is
All
almost
right.
10 o'clock.
Guys.
So
Happy birthday, man.
Great night.
See you
Happy
next
Happy
week.
thank
birthday,
you, guys.
Travis, you have a
We'll
happy
see each
birthday.
other. Lower decks, lower decks, lower
Lower
decks.
decks.
Take care, guys.
Cheers.
Night.
Love you lot.
Love you guys.
Love you
Oops.
guys.
Oh, did they both go? I thought we were.
Yeah.
They
Oh,
both
okay.
had to go. So
Okay.
it's just the 5 of us now.
And then there were 5.
But yeah, there's like one other point of the episode is when Armis was toying with Geordi with his visor, and
Mm.
says like Data's like doesn't copulate, so it's like you're just gonna. I tell him what it is. You're just gonna move it again. So Armis is just like, screw you, give it back to him. But just the look of actual pure frustration on Jordy's face, it just like he really seemed pissed off over it.
Oh yeah, Jordy wanted to.
He was like,
Yeah.
The look
he
on
was-
He's like,
Jordy's
you
face after
motherfucker.
he put
Jordy
his
wanted to
visor
kill him.
back on, it looked like he wanted to proper punch Armis.
Mhm.
mm-hmm.
And I don't blame him.
Oh, then he'd
I mean,
have
you
gotten
don't-
sucked into the goo too.
most
Yeah.
likely.
Yeah.
And like
you
I
don't mess
said
with a
like
blind
earlier,
man's
like,
eyes.
and I said earlier, LeVar was looking at Frakes. I wouldn't have even done that. So.
Mhm.
I will say though, it was a great episode to highlight Deanna's empathic abilities.
Mm.
I
Yeah.
thought that
Yes,
was
yeah.
really well
Yeah.
done.
Yeah, even though granted she was in a crash, but I mean her hair was a proper mess. But I'm just so glad they got rid of that freaking beehive whatever dude
Yeah.
Yeah.
in the first season.
Forgot about that. Yeah.
I mean,
I
I
haven't.
mean,
Sorry.
and her costuming it greatly improved in season 2.
Yeah,
It
that
did.
skirt was too
Yes.
much.
Yeah, that
that's-
that was
that was
like
good.
a Jerry Ryan cat suit almost that she was
She'd
wearing.
like sit down and you'd see Bush. It was weird.
But that's how it is. I mean, that Star Trek is about evolution. So you try, you see where you're at the first season, and then you realize we need to probably do something different, and that's what
Yeah.
they did. They kept on changing everything out. Each season was different, honestly.
She was probably like, how did they wear these in the 60s? Like, you can't even bend
Probably.
over.
I have to. I haven't seen the.
Well, see,
this
I mean,
episode
I'm
in
fine with
years.
that. That was Troy was hot.
She was.
I said
She
it.
is.
What were you saying, Phil?
Oh, I haven't seen the episode in like years and years, and I still remember the first time I watched it. I had a hard time getting into Next Generation at the time because I was just not liking the episodes that much. But
Mhm.
I've come to really appreciate the writing a lot more now, like watching it and dealing with this thing that just wanted to that just
Show
wanted to
better.
toy with these people and how they
Mhm.
dealt with it and weren't going to give him what he wanted. And I thought the writing in that was actually really, really smart.
Mhm.
It
I
was
thought it was really good.
definitely better than what was the episode with the lizard man that you could see the zipper in.
Oh,
Yeah, when Kirk fought that I mean
Goran.
you could
I like
definitely
the
see
Goran
the
though.
Goran. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I'd say watching
But
it
there really
many
wasn't a
years
story
ago.
with that though, and
True.
that's and you come to this one and you realize like they've learned like in a 20-year period like
Hmm.
it should be about trying to figure out a story to tell, develop characters and the plot
Mm,
that they get themselves into.
for
Whereas
sure.
with the Goran, it
This
was
is why
just
I don't
basically
like TOS.
Yeah.
yeah.
Arena is the name of the episode. It took me a hot,
Yes.
yeah. But
They had some moments. There was some moments in TOS, but I know there was
There
a
were.
lot of issues, and
I
I
mean,
know
there
Shatner
were.
was problematic on
Mhm.
that and wanted
Yeah,
to deal about him. But yeah,
Really,
There
the
is.
thing about TOS to be grateful for is that it brought us so many different new elements of the franchise.
Yeah.
It did.
Yes.
It launched the franchise for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, and with
And then
Strange New Worlds, they're doing a good job of respecting the established canon from TOS, and
Mhm.
they,
Mhm.
even though they are retconning a lot of stuff, especially with the Gorn,
Mhm.
but
But even
So-
like that
The zipper.
gate from Discovery that Giorgio goes through, like
Mhm.
that's from the original series.
yeah,
Yes.
And I
Yeah.
really like that.
Mm-hmm.
and with the upcoming Section 31, it's going to be around the time of when the Enterprise C has been launched because they've cast young Rachel
Oh.
Garrett as one of the characters for the movie.
All right.
I gotta watch those trailers. I haven't seen any of them.
I won't be watching any trailers. I won't be watching any spoilers or anything. I don't watch trailers. I don't watch spoilers.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I can't stand them.
I love
So hold
Michelle
up.
Yeoh. I'll watch her in
It's
anything.
so it's a movie, Section 31.
Yeah.
It's actually even better.
Oh, I thought it was a series.
No,
I thought-
it was originally going to be a series, but since Michelle Yeoh, her popularity's blown up so much, they just are making it a movie event instead. It might be a
Okay.
series of movies. We don't know. I'm
Okay.
thinking that
Mhm.
based on it. I mean, if this first one comes out and does well on Paramount Plus, then they might do subsequent movies.
Have they shown if Ash Tyler is gonna be in it?
No, he's not.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
since it's going to be it's going to be like about 20, 30 years before Next Generation. It's doubtful.
Mm.
Okay.
But they might have a young Jean-Luc Picard. Who knows?
That'd be dope.
interesting.
Highly
That would be
unlikely.
really dope.
No, I don't think it would be. I don't like it when such iconic characters are
Recast as a
shown
younger
younger.
version of themselves in another series.
Well, maybe for like a
Yeah,
cameo.
I don't like that. I mean, I'm a really big fan of NCIS, but they're doing a prequel to it, and they're doing like a young Gibbs, and it's like, no.
And it's
Oh, it
Lowell
was
from
terrible.
Wings. I love that. That's hilarious.
That's who from
But-
Wings?
Lowell. He was the Sandman in the Spider-Man movies.
Oh,
Yeah, I know who you mean.
I forget his real name.
The thing is, though, when it comes to something like that with the NCIS thing, in the actual series of NCIS, Mark Harmon's son plays the young Gibbs in flashbacks.
Oh, yeah.
So why they
Yeah.
didn't try getting him for the prequel, I don't know.
There's a story on that. I can't remember the exact details of it, but I mean they have talked about that. So,
But no, I don't think that like a movie like Section 31 would be appropriate to have a young Picard in.
well, I think maybe having a little snippet, maybe if they wanted to throw something in there just to have like an homage, a little cameo of a young Picard, cool. I mean, do that. But I do agree with you on that, Katie. I mean, a lot of times they mess up big time when it comes to casting a younger version, like First
Yeah.
Class. Like the X-Men movie First Class, terrible. I think
Well, what do you guys think of the Kirk that they have in Strange New Worlds?
well, we know Katie's opinion on that.
I don't like Paul Wesley. I didn't like him in the Vampire Diaries. I didn't like him in Smallville. There's something about him that I don't like. I didn't even consider meeting him at Comic-Con last year when I went.
I don't like Wesley.
But the way he's playing Kirk so far is kind of somewhere in between Shatner and Pine. You see, I love Chris Pine's version of Kirk in the Kelvin Timeline movies.
I agree. He did a hell of a Kirk.
Mhm.
He did.
really did.
He had the right amount of arrogance, the right amount of playboy, but he also had an intensity to him, and it wasn't all
Yep.
about, oh, look at me, I'm a ladies' man, and I'm
Yeah.
the best. You know, he was more complex. Whereas Shatner, he was just all, woo, look at me, I'm the best. This is all about me. In
Yeah.
every single fucking sentence he said. But
Well, that's Bill. That's Bill Shatner in general.
yeah, but
Mhm.
I am very intrigued just to see how Paul Wesley's going to carry on playing Kirk. Because
I want to see how far things go with Carol and his baby.
yeah,
Carol.
I mean I just don't like him as a person. There's just something about him that I don't like.
That's how I feel about Chris Pine, so I get it.
But the way that he's playing Kirk so far is kind of an in-between of both of them.
Mm-hmm.
And I am intrigued as to how he will carry on the character. And I'm kind of on the sidelines with him at the minute. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
But no, I don't like when younger versions of, unless there's been like a younger version and then you go into the future and there's like an older version and they can get it quite right. You know, I don't mind so much that.
I mean,
But again,
I like going.
so many mistakes.
I think it only works for Red Dead Redemption. Yeah. They did a good job on showing the young version of John Marston.
Yeah. I agree with that.
But Star Trek, no. I get what
Yeah.
you're saying.
No, I mean, apparently a young Janeway, like Captain Janeway, was set up in Next Generation.
I heard about that.
Yeah, in a counselling session with Troi, Ensign Janeway. You never knew her first name.
Yeah.
But it was like Ensign Janeway, and apparently that's what gave flight to Captain Janeway of Voyager. And it all stemmed from that, and it was almost predetermined. It was, yeah, I read something on that last week.
Was it was she played by Kate Mulgrew?
No, she wasn't. It was another actress. I don't even know what episode it was of Next Gen, but she's in a counselling session with Troi. And she's Ensign Janeway. And it was something about it was predetermined that they always wanted to have a female captain of a starship, like to have like her own show kind of thing. And they basically took that Ensign Janeway and made her into a captain when it came to Voyager, and the timeline kind of fits.
Very interesting.
Does it though? Would it actually fit? Because that seems like it would be a short turnaround from ensign to captain.
Yeah, say, and that Janeway was it? Well, actually, well, she's in Science Blue, but she's a blonde, not a redhead.
It's Man of the People.
But
Yeah,
no,
the
I
episode.
can't remember what I read.
I don't care. I don't care. The best captain is Cisco.
Oh hell no!
That's the only reason why I said it, Katie. I knew you were going to say hell no.
No,
It's the part.
I don't like Cisco. He pisses me off so much. He is such a self-righteous, pompous twat.
He started a war. He started a war over a wormhole.
Honestly, I mean, there's a couple of occasions where I don't mind him. You know,
I mean-
but he doesn't. His character doesn't really evolve much. It's only
It does.
when he becomes one of the wormhole people, you know, that his character actually evolves. All throughout, I mean, like Janeway, perfect example of the difference between her and Cisco. She was self-righteous and pompous and all Starfleet protocol, you know, at the beginning, but
And she evolved, yeah.
yeah, her character evolved. Yes, she was still wanting to follow the Prime Directive, but there were occasions where she just threw that out the window for good reason, and she evolved more as a person as well. You got to see more of her personality in a way, but whereas Cisco, he just kind of stayed as like status quo. There was the odd ripple, but it was literally the tiniest ripple in the water, whereas Janeway, her personality had full-on waves and tsunamis, you know, and there was that evolution of her. But Cisco never lost his pomp and circumstance, and especially when he was actually made a captain, he got worse in a way.
Well, once he became he became captain when they ended up I don't know, confronting the Marquis, right? Like he basically, if it wasn't for him, honestly, the Marquis would have been probably just shit to the wind. But they ended up becoming even more of a nuisance as a terror organization.
Yeah, I mean, I know that Janeway caused a lot of ripples in the Delta Quadrant, you know, but that was all down to technology that was new to the quadrant, and other people wanted a piece of it. Whereas Cisco, he caused so many problems just because he was up his own ass. Sorry, my Britishness came out then. I do apologize.
That's okay, but no, I did a
Sorry,
little.
my Irish came out.
I did a little research on the Janeway thing. It's not the same Janeway because it was established in the episode Night, which I think was like the 5th season premiere episode, is that she was a lieutenant during the Cardassian War, which ended in 2367, and this episode was like was a couple of years later. So, so yeah, not. It's kind of like the one of the admirals that Cisco dealt with, Chakotay, a different Chakotay. No relation to.
I mean, like I said, I don't know what I read it on, and I read this like last week on like Thursday, and I was very emotionally distraught, so I probably got a lot of it wrong. So, you know, you'll have to forgive me for that, people.
That's okay, but no, I was able to get straight because I was just looking. I mean, there are similarities and differences, but yeah, that lieutenant during the Cardassian War was that kind of.
Okay, so just like ignore what I said previously. And like,
what was that?
You know, unfortunately, this is a live stream, so it can't be edited out. But maybe we should stop doing live streams so that you can edit my stupidity out of it.
Not at all.
Yeah, but then that would mean edit. Ugh.
And it's still interesting conversation. It gave us cause to research.
True.
Exactly.
True.
That's not a bad thing.
Technically correct people. My stupidity gets the others to do research.
See, yeah, you weren't aware that you're going to be fact checked.
So humble.
Yep, fact checked. That's okay. You followed it. You're good.
Is there a fact check that says? Is there a fact check to Cisco being a pompous asshole?
Oh, that's
Yeah,
just a
No.
fact.
the fact check is
That's
me.
just a fact.
I am
That's
the
just
fact
a
checker
straight
on that
fact.
one.
Oh no, it's a tribble.
It's,
Don't get
It's
tribbles.
a.
it's just my unstuffed puppy.
I will say
Tribble.
that was the best episode of Deep Space Nine was when they
Yes.
did the
Moonlight.
tribbles.
Yeah,
Oh,
They
the
really
Scarlet
did a
Witch.
great
you know,
job.
one that I actually like.
Well, it gave Terry Farrell like probably one of the most used memes for her with her
Mhm.
dropping that jokes. I guess you guys in Triple Investigations are always on time, and they just look at her and she's like, okay.
Yeah,
I
I
love
will
that
admit
she's-
my eyes fell out of my head when I first saw that episode because holy hell, she's hot.
Yeah. She's married to Adam
Adam Nimoy.
Nimoy. Yeah.
I think so. I think so. They just recently got divorced.
Oh no. I didn't know that.
So
That's
she's on the
sad.
market now.
Oh, maybe I've got a chance. I don't give a shit about her sexuality.
With any luck, neither does she.
Let me know what they say.
Maybe she's fluid. You don't know. Dax was pretty fluid.
You know the saying, spaghetti straight until it gets wet.
Oh my.
Sorry.
Yeah, but Dax can handle a Klingon.
Oh yeah.
DP. Sorry. Ouch.
I was still waiting for that, Marla.
Which is funny is remember that it was early in season 1 where Worf and Riker were having that conversation. I forget what Worf said. He's like, a Klingon could never be with an Earth woman because
They're too fragile.
they're too fragile.
Yeah, I think he was talking with Guinan.
It was,
That was
yeah. Well,
Yeah, it's yesterday's
Yeah.
Enterprise. Yeah, Earth
Mhm.
females are too fragile.
Yeah,
But
And-
yet
Riker
he was
walked
with
in.
Deanna for a short stint.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
I never liked that relationship.
No, me neither.
Hmm.
And I thought
He
it was
probably-
a bit
he probably
contrived
didn't
when they
either.
devolved and him and Riker were fighting over her in animal form. And it's, it was horrible.
Yeah, I never liked that relationship. I much preferred Tasha's and Data's relationship to that.
Me too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Because that was so sweet.
Allah.
I'm sorry,
And-
but it was. I mean, I know that they were all drugged
Mm.
up and it was basically one big ship orgy, but
But
you
we
know,
found out he's anatomically correct. And he's
Well,
programmed
right,
with
you know,
styles.
and he would have used those multiple techniques to
That's
his
right.
advantage.
Well, it as to end this for my one thing. I was heartbroken when Tasha was gone. It made me a widower, and it was
Aw,
so-
No.
I did love
I actually,
Natasha.
I actually had one more little note that I wrote down, actually sort of coming right back around to that, actually, when I was watching this episode. Because I thought it was interesting, I think, that how they set up the... I think they were really trying to set up the shock of Tasha's death because they had that conversation between Tasha and Worf at the beginning, setting up that
Yep.
there was some sort of tournament or something coming up. And they were discussing this in detail. And I still remember the first time I was watching that, expecting that at the end of the episode that we would see them enter in the tournament or something was going to happen, and you'd see a little bit of that. But the fact that they set up with that conversation that something was coming and then boom, it's like, that's not happening. That's
They ripped the rug right out from under you in that episode.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah,
They did.
they really did.
They really
Yeah.
did.
Yeah,
And
I
that's-
made a note that they were quite flirty. I would dare I say.
Little
were
bit.
having-
They were.
He's like, "Hey, Worf, how you doing?"
Yeah.
He joeyed
And
him,
say you bet on me. Yeah, she's like,
right?
she's like-
And he was
I'm
interested.
not the only one that caught the flirting, because I'm sorry, but she was batting her eyes at him.
Oh yeah.
And he
Oh, yeah.
he was giving her the come on. I'm sorry, but it was that.
She's like,
know.
I heard you're twice the man Data is. No,
And
Oh,
twice the appendages.
that's right.
Data doesn't need it.
She's
It's
up for
programmed in
it.
multiple techniques, not just Klingon.
well, I can concur. I mean, he did like it a little rough.
I would say, yeah, the number of times that he and Jadzia were in the infirmary with broken bones, bruised joints, and
Right?
There really was a lot of
And-
sex in Star Trek.
yeah, and of course, Julian's like, don't tell me. Just don't know if there's that
I
because
know.
he didn't want the visual because of the visual of it, or the fact that I mean, Worf was boinking the girl that he liked first.
Yep,
Yeah.
that sucks,
I'm
Julian.
surprised that Tom and B'Elanna won in sick bay more
So
often.
does that mean she has 2 vaginas?
You know, that's a good question.
Either that or the little parasite. I forget what it was called. Maybe it was fucking that.
Arm.
I forget exactly what the host is called.
Symbiote?
That Dax one. Oh, just yeah. There you go.
Yeah, the symbiote.
Symbiont. I thought it was called something else. I guess it was just symbiont, wasn't it?
Mm. Or like a slug is what a lot of people
Or a
refer to
slug.
it as.
Yeah.
Slug.
Zentia is what it looked like, was just a big old ugly slug.
Mm-hmm. Looked like a bean.
Yeah, I won't even comment on that. People always find me really weird when I comment on things.
You open your mouth, Katie. You got to share now.
I
Gotta
think the
share.
symbiotes are cute.
Okay.
I mean, kind of.
There again, I think that the Gorn babies in Strange New World are absolutely adorable. I would love one of those.
If they didn't want to eat your face.
I would punt it.
I was gonna say,
I find the Gorn babies adorable. They are just so cute.
I wonder if they're delicious.
They're like
And
little Bacilloraptors.
I wonder if you can eat them.
You see,
Right?
I like velociraptors. Raptors are my favorite dinosaur, and they remind me of raptors.
Let's say
Go
raptor.
for the raptors. Sorry.
I wonder if a raptor tastes like chicken. I mean, it's basically a bird.
Yeah.
Don't you dare! Don't you dare even go down that route! How dare you,
What
barbecue raptor?
What if a Gorn baby got together like with one of those venomous little things from the episode 9 of Lower Decks last season? Those that spat the venom and stuff made your eyes pop out.
No.
Or just like they're cute for when they're behind the fence, but once they get loose, it's just like, what with Gorn and
You
one of
guys
those
know who's adorable though.
Moopsie.
Moopsie.
I love the Moopsie.
Oh, I adore Moopsie. I want a Moopsie. I need a Moopsie plush. I need one. I need to find one. I need to get one. And I also need to try and find a real life one as well because,
do they make
I
them?
would love
Somebody
that
must have made
Moopsie
some.
so hard. I would snuggle that Moopsie and I would let it feast on my enemies.
I'm going to get a personalized license plate and it's going to say Moopsie.
Yay!
Moopsie.
Moopsie.
They're on Amazon and AliExpress.
I'm actually going to pay the Service Ontario fee for a personalized plate.
Excuse me.
I don't think how much a Moopsie license plate cost across here.
$320 over in Canada.
Yoicks.
Is it that much now?
It is.
I don't
I
drive,
bet
but
it's
I
to
remember
make
years
up.
ago it was.
It's to make up for us not having to pay for the sticker now, though.
Oh, right.
Wait, you don't have to pay for the sticker?
No. It's
That's
free as long as you register your car.
Oh. Well, I wouldn't be registering, so. I'd be riding dirty all the time.
You rebel.
I couldn't afford to do that. It's tied to my license and my job.
True.
Yeah, that is true. I
And I
just want
love
to see
my
what I just want to see how a Canadian prison looks like.
Yeah.
Well, you keep me posted then, Zach.
I hear it's very nice.
I
Almost,
wouldn't think it's that nice.
yeah,
Should come
almost
across to
like
the
there's.
prisons across here. They're
Yeah.
horrible.
We have a detention center called the Toronto South Detention Center, and people get stabbed in there all the time.
Oy.
Oh, that sounds like that's basically the equivalent of the county, though, right?
No,
Understandable.
it's like Southern Ontario.
Oh, well, that's closer to
I mean,
Toronto.
it's mainly Toronto, but like if you're in Mississauga or Brampton, they could take you to the Toronto South.
Yeah,
And it's horrible.
no, I believe it.
I
From
do
what I
not
understand,
recommend it as a tourist spot.
Really? I was going to book a vacation and go on a tour.
I'm gonna book it. We're gonna go see Toronto South Detention Center.
Yeah.
It just
I
reminds me
might
of
join you
Shameless.
there.
Will it remind me of the penal colony of New Zealand that Thomas picked up from?
No,
Maybe.
because they were outdoors.
Touche. See, that was a
And
nice
our
prison.
prisons here, though, aren't that different from the prisons in the U.S.
Not at all.
I know what I've seen, but they're not. Oh, are they that different? I don't know. I've remember
Mhm.
said they were, but
No, they're very similar.
oh, are they? Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah,
Well, in the words of 3-6 Mafia, I ain't going back to jail.
I won't go
think
there a
that's-
first time if I can help it.
No, I've seen the inside of holding cells, but I've never seen the inside of a prison, thank the Lord.
Man, I'd be somebody's bitch so fast.
I'd probably end up like going down for like 2 months and end up with a life sentence. I'd probably kill somebody in there.
Yeah, see, I've been in a retired prison, the old Montana State Penitentiary out in Deer Lodge,
But
Montana.
ghost hunting doesn't count.
Ghost hunting
Well,
counts.
this is before I was a investigator. Say they
Oh.
actually they do day tours and whatnot for anybody in the public to check it out and see what they look like. It wasn't a functional prison at that point, but they had a museum in it, but they also had still had all the original cells and everything like that. So I got a tour.
Mhm.
You're too nice for prison, Dave.
Oh, I know. I I would not last long in one.
Notice how Dave got that comment, but I didn't.
Well, I don't see you as a criminal either. You don't see anyone in this conversation as an actual criminal.
Well, technically I am.
Well, that's circumstance.
All mine are expunged finally, but yes.
Oh, I wish mine would be. What a load of shit that was.
I had yeah. Well, I had to wait about
Actually-
7 years before I could.
Mm-hmm.
you know, there's Mala. Maybe you know about this. What's the old prison in Ottawa that now you can actually stay overnight, and a lot of people like to go and do ghost tours, and it's a really
I don't
popular
know.
one that it's not used as a prison anymore. They used to do hangings in them, but but now you can actually rent rooms and stay overnight.
Oh, that sounds
That's
so
cool.
fun, actually.
It's apparently really creepy. People go in and do ghost tours, and they do and it's apparently not that expensive. But I'm trying to think of the name of it. I've wanted to do that.
St. Lo. It's St. Lo, Ottawa Jail Hostel.
That sounds like yes.
A jail hostel. Wow.
Yeah.
Sounds like
We were
fun.
supposed to-
Not?
We were
It
supposed
does.
to do.
Yeah.
Oh, I was.
It
I
does
was
sound
into
like
the
fun.
whole.
I don't know about the staying part.
I was into the whole ghost.
I'd be like, you
thing, and
can't
it was-
keep me.
I was supposed to go with a friend of mine. Sometime we were supposed to go up there and just spend one night up there, and we were supposed to go up and do a little ghost walk through the place. And yeah, I'd still like to do
what
that
the
if I
prices
can.
are like.
From what I understand, it wasn't terribly expensive. It was
Yeah,
actually quite
you
reasonable. for that.
usually stuff like that runs about anywhere from like $100 to $200 for the night.
Yeah, it wasn't even.
But what would that be in Canadian dollars?
122 Canadian.
Oh,
There you
okay.
go.
So it's not terribly different.
Yeah, it's
No, I've never done ghost tours in prisons. I've only ever done ghost tours in pubs and actual houses. Well, I say ghost tours in houses. I've been on a team to do exorcisms and things like that from houses, and I've done ghost tours around pubs, abandoned buildings, but never a prison. I would actually love to go to some like abandoned prisons, asylums.
That's definitely on my bucket list too, because like the old Montana pen, the same members of the paranormal group I was with, they a bunch of them went there many years ago, and one of the psychics was laying down in the bed in the cell with one of the more aggressive tenants, I guess you could call it, and they were trying to provoke a response, and they weren't getting anything. So he got up out of the bed and just then fell right back down again because something punched him in the nose to the point that it drew blood. And it's all on video. Nothing touched him. Nothing physical touched him. He just like right back down again.
Do you think that's where the term mean spirited comes from?
Possibly.
Could be.
I've had a lot going on when I've gone on ghost tours. I mean, we never used to take any fancy equipment or anything like that, but we would have like basic disposable cameras and one single like camcorder, like a home camcorder, just something really basic. And the photos we got and the marks we were left with were absolutely ridiculous. There were the photos that were printed. We had nooses around our necks, and Raven actually had marks around her neck. A few people did, but Raven's were really bad. She was like the top boss kind of thing for the ghost tours, and it was the worst night we had, and it the only thing that stopped it is when I put that back on, because there was somebody there that was really religious, Catholic, refused to go on the tour if I didn't take that off, and she was with a big group of people. And they made up the majority of the tour that night. So it was the first time I'd ever taken my pentacle off, and I left it in the car. Never again.
You know, you could have taken that opportunity to scare the living shit out of her by saying, you know, if I take this off, I'm too afraid to go in there, so I'll just wait out here. Watch your.
Oh no! It was a big argument. It was almost like a full blown argument, and it was really, really bad. And Raven just said, "Look, just for tonight, can you take it off?" And I'm like, you know, that shit's gonna hit the fan. And she went, "Oh, I'm sure everything will be fine. We'll do extra protection." I said, "That ain't gonna do shit," and it didn't. But as soon as I ran out, put this back on, and entered the building, everything calmed down.
Still sounds like a prime opportunity to fuck with her.
As a Catholic, I tell that Catholic, what a pussy.
Right?
Let's just say that me and this woman, we had words afterwards. And I actually said to her, "You think that crucifix round your neck is more protection than this? How do you explain
do.
that?" As soon as I put this back on,
Well,
everything settled down.
realistically, it's a symbol of your faith, just like a crucifix is a symbol of their faith. So they would work
Yeah.
equally
Mm-hmm.
because it depends on the person, right?
She probably
That's the
was
way I would see it.
She
But
probably
a
didn't have real
crucifix is
faith.
not a symbol of protection, it's a
Mhm.
symbol of faith. A pentacle is a symbol of protection, not faith.
But it sounds to me like she was a cafeteria Catholic.
Oh no, she wanted, when she saw me wearing this, she was like throwing holy water at me.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like a cafeteria Catholic is someone who like wields their faith. They don't believe in their faith.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Whereas me-
she was hardcore.
Yeah, you're like my dad.
Yeah.
You're an actual Catholic. You live like
yeah.
a Catholic. And that's what I like about you.
See,
I
I don't
would
have any
love-
problem
I'm
with
an
what
asshole,
people
though.
believe, but when they
That's
start
okay,
doing
you're
shit
honest.
like that, I can't stand it.
I would
See-
love. Go ahead.
Uh-huh. No, go ahead, Phil.
Oh, I was just gonna say. I was just thinking when I was in the UK last June, I was thinking I would have loved to have done like a ghost tour when I was there in the UK, and
Oh, I
they
bet.
were booked solid all through June. The only ones that were remaining were like £100 or something like that. It was some crazy price, and it was just kind of out of my affordability range. But I'm hoping to go back, and next time for sure I'm going to try and take one. But I would love to do that in the UK.
That would be
I would
Oh,
too. That would be
yeah.
amazing. So many places.
that would be awesome.
Oh yeah.
Well,
That'd be
when I was what, 13, 14, my mother was the manager of a pub, the Swallowest Inn, just on the outskirts of Sheffield, in a little village called Swallowest. And that actually, it's not there anymore. It got turned into some form of restaurant, like Indian restaurant or something. But
butter
the
chicken.
activity in that place was ridiculous. There was so much activity in that place. And years later, when I got into doing ghost tours and things like that and paranormal investigations, my ex Jackie was going through a list of the most haunted pubs in Britain, and that actually came up on the list.
Oh, wow.
But there are two that are like really big, and that's the Golden Fleece in York and the Red Lion in Pontefract.
Ooh.
They are major players for paranormal investigations.
The red one that you had mentioned, that I've heard of that, and that's been on a couple shows.
Yeah, the Red Lion in Pontefract.
Yeah, the Red Lion.
Yeah, I've been there. That's where the nooses were around our necks.
Oh, wow.
Oh, all right.
But the Golden Fleece, that in York, that's quite notorious as well. But it's only on the upper levels that they have the majority of the activity. They have some form of activity on the lower levels in the actual pub. And a few customers have noticed it, but it's mainly on the upper levels that they have the activity.
Travis would have loved this part of the conversation.
Shit.
But no, I do miss my paranormal investigations. You just get a lot of Trekkies on the paranormal investigations, to be quite honest. I love it. I just walk around like talking Trek with people, and it was bliss.
Honestly, I've never been on any formal investigations, but Western New York is actually a very haunted area, generally speaking, with a lot of like ley line crossings and stuff. And my friends and I would just go to weird places all the time. Like,
Yeah, there's
isn't Sleepy Hollow in Western New York?
no, that's Massachusetts, actually.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Interesting. I
I
always
know
thought
this
that
is
was
going to
New
sound
York.
really cliche, but I would love to go to Alcatraz.
Alcatraz is pretty cool.
I know it's cliche, but that's like one cliche thing that I would love to do is go on a tour of Alcatraz. Because I know for a fact, as soon as I step foot on that rock, I'm going to start sensing activity.
I've
You're gonna
never
meet
been there, but the
Alpha-
history is amazing. Sorry.
As soon as you step foot on that rock, you're probably gonna meet Al Capone. Supposedly, even though he wasn't there when he died, he haunts his cell.
I'd like to know what was in his vault.
Yeah.
So what's the name of that old
Didn't
train station there in Buffalo, Mala?
Oh, I don't know.
didn't they
I
open
mean,
his
it's
vault already?
Union Station, just like everywhere else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't Al
Except for
Capone's
Cincinnati,
vault
we call it Union
get
Terminal.
opened already?
Might be Union Terminal, but I think it's near Main and Broadway.
Why don't they have paranormal investigations in the future of Star Trek?
Oh, they'll find her sex candles that Beverly
Yeah.
Crusher leaves behind.
That's what they can do.
Apart from that, that I think there's only like 2 episodes of Trek that were even remotely is it a ghost, isn't it kind of thing, and that was the sex candle episode, which we call Hugo's favorite episode.
Yeah.
And the one where Chakotay's consciousness is displaced. They're the only 2 that are in any way
spooky.
There
There
was a
flirty spirit kind of thing that not necessarily spooky, but
The Buffalo Central Terminal, that's the name of the place there in
okay.
Buffalo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because Ghost Hunters years ago, they actually did a live investigation there years ago and got a lot of like crazy stuff.
Well, there's a place on Grand Island, and that's kind of where I hung out as a teenager. And there's a haunted hotel, and right next to it is a graveyard. And from the road, there's one of the headstones all the way back towards the waterfront, because it's an island, and it glows green but the closer you get to it, it dims. It's creepy as fuck.
I like the sound of that.
It is really cool. Like, we spent a lot of nights in that graveyard, and I drove a lot of drunk people home, but we never could find which headstone it actually was, because by the time you got close to it, the glow would go. But you could see it clear as day from the road at night.
Yeah, there's a story about that in my town cemetery. There's supposedly a tombstone that glows green. Like,
yeah, that's so
I don't know.
creepy.
Certain times of the night, it'll if you happen to pass by,
Interesting.
you'll see a green orb like
Well,
disfiguration just coming above the horizon.
I have a theory that those stones were made from old watch factories because the phosphorus would make the stone glow from the exposure.
That makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense. And that's what we call a debunk.
Right?
I mean, some things you just really can't explain.
Yeah.
Other things that there is like a more logical explanation to it.
We spent a lot of nights trying to figure it out, though.
I mean, some of the things that I've
A lot of
seen,
weed.
they just can't be explained.
Mm-hmm.
They really can't. And things that people say are coincidence, I'm just like, really? You're trying to explain that away? You try explaining the logic of that.
Right.
And they're just like, oh, well, it could be this, it could be that, it could be a trick of the light. It's like, that is like a full person that you can see through. That is not a trick of the freaking light, love.
Our house that I grew up in was haunted. And it was kind of creepy until you get used to it. We were in that house for like 20 years, though.
Yeah,
But
my house was haunted by the guy that built it.
well, ours
And you
was the second
activity.
person who owned it, and he
Mhm.
had a pool in the backyard that he used to baptize people in.
Ugh.
And he died in the house.
Oh, geez.
So, I mean, he just got old. And it took like ages for someone to find him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, a house that I lived in, it was actually a house that my mother bought. When my mum was doing a load of renovations to the property, a load of photos were taken like before, during, and after, and the orbs were just insane. But also the lady that lived there before us, she died in that house.
Mm-hmm.
And she was an elderly lady, and it was always between 11:30 at night and 1 a.m. Guaranteed, between those two times, you would hear from the kitchen. For some reason, I don't know why it was that time, but it was. You would hear bags rustling, cupboards opening and closing. You'd hear the kettle boil and click. You'd hear a teaspoon in a cup. And it was this lady getting back from doing her shopping, getting her groceries, and then putting all the groceries away and making herself a cup of tea. And it was almost on a nightly basis that this happened. It was like a routine.
Mm-hmm.
But the activity in that house, at one point, I was in the house completely on my own. The dogs were downstairs. I'd taken some laundry up. And now I don't roll my socks into a ball. I fold them. I'm sensible. And okay, I'm OCD. But when I was on my way back down the stairs, because I thought I'll take my laundry up, I'll put it away later. Once I before I get settled. No, socks are folded. And when I was on my way back down the stairs, I had a rolled up pair of socks thrown at me.
Oh no.
And it hit me in the back of the head. And I just looked at this rolled up pair of socks. And bearing in mind, I was in the house on my own. I do not roll my socks. I fold them like a normal person. No, sorry, I hate that word. Ugh. It felt dirty saying it. Normal. Ugh. But I just looked at this rolled up pair of socks, and I actually said out loud to the in the general direction it came from, I would have preferred a lamp thrown at me than a rolled up pair of socks. That is just blasphemy. And when I got down the stairs, I had someone laughing.
Oh.
Oh my.
Yeah.
We were like, that.
I have no idea what that was all about. It never happened again.
It's not
But
funny.
the amount of things that happened, there was one night when my mum, she swore blind that I was shouting at her from downstairs, and I sounded really panicked. And I heard her shout of me, but neither of us had shouted of each other. My mum was fast asleep in bed. I'd got home from a quiet night out at about 1 a.m, and I was just sat downstairs with Jackie, and we was having like a final drink before we went to bed. And apparently my mum was woken up by me shouting of her in a panic, but me and Jackie heard my mum shout of us. And I got to the bottom of the stairs just as my mum was getting out of bed. Neither of us had said a word, but we both heard each other shout. It was really weird. Even Jackie heard my mum shout, and my mum had not said a word. It was just really weird.
I believe it.
But yeah, a lot of strange things have happened in the properties I've lived in, even in this one. I mean, I've got activity around me all the time. I'm used to it. I've grown up with it. And I mean, everybody knows the thing with the spiders with me. I suffer really bad arachnophobia, but spiders are a warning to me. And that's why I have two at the moment. I have two tattooed on me because they're a big part of my life. And it's been a lot more in your face with it in the last few months. I mean, the day before I found out my father had passed away, I was in the shower and a spider like scared me out to death, and I nearly actually had a fall because of it. And it was coming at me. It was seeking me out, and I said to my mum, I says, I'm really unsettled. I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's going to be something big or I am being baby stepped into it, or if it's going to be something small. But I'm really unsettled. The time before that, I don't know if you remember a photo. It was actually taken just at the side of my bed, down here. A spider had ran right across my room to try and get to me on my bed. And I took a photo of it and posted it in the DT Discord. And I was so unsettled by that. And I said to everyone, some form of shit's going to hit the fan. A load of stuff kicked off with my best friend, with her and a partner. And not long before that, there was a spider right above my bed. I took a photo of it because I knew that something was going to happen. And 20 minutes later, I found out a load of crap had kicked off with my family. And the time before that, before I changed my bedroom round, there was another spider above my bed, and this fell off my chain. But this is the same chain. The chain was undone, and the pendant fell off the chain. And the next day I found out that one of my very close friends, Midnight, had passed away in the early hours, which would have been round about the time my chain was undone. So I'm around activity all the time, and certain things are warnings for me. Sometimes, I know this is going to sound even more strange, but there's been quite a few times for technically Trek, we've watched an episode of Star Trek and there's been things in that have been a warning for me, and things have happened a couple of days later that are related to what we've watched, and it just, things seem to line up with me in that sense. It's really weird. So yeah, even Star Trek is, it can have things in it that seem like a coincidence, but really it isn't.
No, that's very relatable.
Yeah, it's interesting just how energy manifests itself.
I mean, this episode tonight, a load of death. A week after my dad died. And the books I've been reading, dead dads. It's just like, this is just really weird. But yeah, it's strange how things line up. I'm dreading what Lower Decks is going to bring next week.
That should be interesting, but yeah, we're 4 hours away from that before they launch it, unless, of course, Paramount wanted to be sneaky bastards and bring it sooner.
It's just on, I take it's just on Paramount. It's not on anything else.
Yeah.
Yes.
And whatever they do internationally.
Yeah.
Through other methods.
Want my Paramount Plus password?
Oh, it's okay. I wouldn't. I'll manage to get it. It'll be all right.
Well,
No, I'm
if
actually
you
glad
change
we've
your
got new
mind,
track to watch for the show, and that we are doing like technically tracking that, whether it's new or old Trek, because at least then I'm getting use out on my Paramount Plus at least once a week.
right?
Because at the
Exactly.
minute, I mean,
Right.
I can't remember the last, apart from watching this episode tonight before the show, I can't remember the last time I watched anything on TV. It's been months.
Yeah, well, at least for the
How much
next
is it
9
in
weeks,
Canada?
What's that?
Oh, I was going to say, how much is it in Canada for Paramount Plus?
I'm not too sure. I think I actually just paid on it today, so let me check.
I think
15,
US it was
20.
like $8 or something, but here
But
it's
I don't think Paramount is as finicky about you sharing your password as Netflix.
oh,
Oh no, Netflix are bastards for
Netflix.
sharing.
Yeah. They're terrible. But I don't think Paramount is as bad about that. I don't think they really care.
Well, if you're okay with it, I'd probably only just watch Trek stuff, like the stuff some of it I can get on Netflix, but
Are you on Discord? Because I can send you the login info there.
I'm
And it
not
costs you-
reactivated again. You know what? I have
I've
Discord
got you on Twitter. No,
I
I've
will
got you
say
on Twitter.
this. Besides the Trek stuff, check out 1983. Glorious.
What is 1983?
It's a Yellowstone. Yeah, it's a
Not
Yellowstone.
1984?
Origin. So yeah, it's the Yellowstone origin. 1898. Did I say 19? I mean 1883.
Oh, one of my Lyft passengers about 2 months ago, I forget his name, but I'll remember it when I see it. Say he played the judge in one of the episodes, and I was actually taking him to the airport because they were flying him out to Montana to shoot another episode.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah.
Yeah, Yellowstone's finally coming back after 2 years.
Yeah, there are a few things on Paramount that I wouldn't mind watching. I watched something on Paramount several months ago. What's it called? It's based on a book, and I can't for the life of me remember what it's called. But it's like is it a 6-episode series? What the fuck is it called? I don't know, but I know that it's got Colin Morgan in it, and he basically plays a stalker or something, and it was very psychological, and you just did not know what was happening, but it was really good. And I wouldn't mind actually checking out Halo.
Oh, Phil, I'm on your Twitter. It says your tweets are protected.
Oh, really? I barely use Twitter that often. That's why I was asking if you were on Instagram by chance. I barely use Twitter that much. I do. Does this have a Discord? Or actually, no. Hold on. Maybe.
Yeah, if you go to bit.ly.dtfam, bit.ly/dt_fam, that'll take you to the Discord.
Oh, all right. But I can see. Actually, I should see if. Okay, let me just double check the Twitter real quick, and then I sometimes even forget my own sign in on that. I'll find I'm signed out, and I'm like, I don't even remember how to get back in.
Don't mind me.
I don't even know how to find out if how my tweets. I don't even know how to change that.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to check from my desktop because I'm on my laptop right now to get my password and log in. But just tell me where you want me to send it, and I'll send it.
Yeah, I'm the most I'm on usually is like I'm on Instagram. I do have a TikTok account, but I don't.
Oh no, what's your Instagram handle?
Oh, it's Phil Chandler Arts.
I might already have you. Oh no, but I just followed you now.
Oh, all right.
Cartoonist?
Yes, that's me. Yep.
Gotcha.
Everyone, please feel free to follow me on Instagram.
Shameless plug moment. We love those. They're wonderful. But yeah, I just followed you there.
Always be plugging.
What's that?
I just followed you, so
I just
I'll
followed you
send you a
back.
message when I
Okay.
look that info up.
Okay. All right.
And yeah, it only costs like $15 a month. So,
Okay.
but it all adds up when you're paying for like Netflix and Paramount and Disney.
Yeah, I'm thinking of getting rid of my
Oh,
Netflix
yeah.
because I don't think there's anything else on it that I want to watch, and I'm not interested in Prodigy at all.
I was
No.
gonna do the same. I was gonna do the same thing with Netflix, but then I realized WWE's coming in January. I'm like,
Uh-huh.
Oh, they
I kinda
host
wanna-
it?
yeah, they're gonna host it on Netflix starting
Well,
in
that's
January.
handy.
I'm sharing my friend's Netflix, so I'm only giving him like $9 a month. I'm sending him, so I'm sort of.
What's coming on to Netflix?
Oh no! Oh,
Wrestling.
yeah, wrestling.
WWE Raw.
Really?
Yeah, WWE Raw is coming to Netflix,
Oh my god!
and all of the Prime, all of the pay-per-views.
Oh, I might keep my Netflix there because I miss Raw.
WrestleMania is gonna be on Netflix.
Oh, I love Raw. I really do. I mean, Becky Lynch is like my Irish wife. I absolutely
dope.
love Becky
She
Lynch.
is dope.
And have you seen her daughter? Oh, her daughter is so cute. I'm absolutely gutted that she married him though. Ugh, I don't like him.
Who's she married? Didn't she marry
Seth Rollins?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I can't stand John Cena.
Who
He's
doesn't?
just a complete and utter dick.
He done retired.
He's funny as the Peacemaker, though.
Yeah,
I can't
he's
stand
great.
him.
He's great as an actor.
I like John Cena as much as I like William Shatner.
See, I don't follow wrestling, but I know John Cena from his acting. I've never seen him wrestle a day in my life, though.
See, I love The Rock. I've always been a big fan.
He's funny too.
I love him.
The TV show Young Rock is amazing. I love that
I've
show.
not seen that.
There's your John Cena for you.
I don't know what that means.
Or is it
Word Life?
But no, I do miss
first
wrestling.
gimmick.
I really do.
Like the last time I saw wrestling was 1980 something, and they had a cartoon version of it where they went on adventures.
No, I
like the snake.
Oh,
That's how old it is, and
Jake
Andre the Giant,
wrestling
and
with my nephew.
Elizabeth and Macho Man.
He could curse. It was the only time that he could curse, and he could let rip with me, and that was one of the reasons why I was his favorite aunt, because it was like the one time where he was allowed to use any form of curse word he wanted, and both of us would sit there watching wrestling, and we would be so into it. And he was like 5-6 years old, and the language he would come out with, oh my god, his mouth was just so bad. But it was only during the wrestling, while I was watching the wrestling, that he was allowed to do that. And we would sit there for hours watching it, and it was just so funny. But yeah, I do miss my wrestling.
I'm like you, Mo. I followed it kind of through the 80s and 90s and up until maybe the very early 2000s, because my roommate used to get all the pay-per-views and everything he'd watch. But once I left, I kind of disconnected from it. I haven't really kind of followed it since the very early 2000s. I've totally lost track of who's who. And
well, I gotta be honest, I come from a family of academics where I'm the sportiest person in our family.
Oh.
And I brought my husband to my parents' house the first time.
Mm.
Well, we were dating at the time when he came down. He put on hockey, and they were like, "What is that?"
In Canada, really?
That's a
No, my parents are from New York.
Oh, all right. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
well.
I
What
like
that
ice
is
hockey.
What?
that's a fight going on in an icebox.
My
Yeah.
I went to a
dad was
I went
more
to a
interested
fight.
in the mascots.
Yeah. I went
Well,
to a fight once and a hockey game broke out.
My dad
That
used to
Right.
tell that joke for years.
See, I
That's
don't really
Yeah,
do
Canadian
dad
hockey.
sport.
Dad
I don't
jokes
do
for the win.
sport. I will watch
Oh,
WWE. But the only sport I really like is rugby.
Okay.
I used to play, so
Well, I
it's
played
kind of
like
like
5
That's a
sports
very
growing up,
British.
and my parents didn't understand any of it.
ha-
They would show up and videotape and then let other people watch it, and they'd be like, "Yeah, we were just there to tape."
speaking of videotape, have you seen the commercial John Cena did way back in the day for Gold's Gym?
Mm-mm.
Here it is.
hell.
Posing room. That's hilarious. Dead hair.
Baby oil.
That's so funny.
Poser.
He just came from a white party at Diddy's.
He probably did.
He may have. You never know.
No, I really don't like him. He is a complete and utter twat waffle. He really is.
I agree.
He is on a show called Wipeout with the big red balls, and he's so
Oh,
funny.
Oh, was he on that? Jeez. I used to
He
watch that
is. He's
ages
the new
ago.
host.
oh
Oh
boy.
God, really?
It's hilarious. Yeah, they got rid of the talk soup guy ages ago, and then they've
Oh,
got
really?
a young woman named Nikki. I guess she's an actress, but I've only seen her on Wipeout.
Yeah. Is that I watched that show like 20 years ago. I didn't, and I
Right?
used to watch I used to watch the British version as well. The host on the British one was hysterical.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I used to watch it. God, we got hooked on like all of them.
Oh, Wipeout is so funny.
Wipeout is
Yeah.
a game show.
Kind of. It's like an obstacle course for adults.
No, it's not
It's
that.
like-
No, not that way. But there was another game show called Wipeout, and it was like an actual game show.
Ours
Oh.
is like a goofy version of American Ninja Warrior.
Yeah, I don't even like Ninja Warrior.
It was kind of open to anybody though that could do it.
Yeah.
To get to the obstacles.
Anyone can
Yeah,
run the course.
But they had a British. I think it was like a British one, an Australian one, and it was the same idea, almost this
With the
exact
big
same
red
setup.
balls
They were funny though. God, I would watch all of them. Yeah, yeah,
and walls that pop out at people.
yeah.
Mud pits. It's wonderful.
No, I
think-
don't
Are we
like
going
it.
the
I really don't.
Are we going the Joe Rogan route, Dave?
No, I'm thinking we're gonna call it a night route because we're at over 3 hours tonight. This has been
I
the
was gonna
longest
say
episode.
I have to probably get going. Soon.
That's why I said
got-
the Joe Rogan route.
Okay,
Yeah.
I wasn't sure what. I thought you were thinking something else, but
Wasn't the longest episode the
still live.
space that went on for
Yeah.
12 hours?
well, that the Twitter Space days, yeah, but half of that I was sleeping.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yes, we could hear your little
Don't even
snuffly
watch.
snores through the microphone. It was so sweet.
It's like we lost Dave, but we're still here.
We're still
And Dave is still
live.
part of the conversation because we can hear him snoring.
Sleep mumbles. Sex candle.
Yeah, that was during my
Yeah.
drinking days.
yeah.
No, you were completely sober that night.
Was I?
You was just
You're
very
probably gonna die.
tired.
But it was still during my drunk
We'll
days.
go with it.
Yeah, I was still in Seattle at that point.
Yep.
Holy
Is
cows.
anyone still watching? I don't think anyone's
Got
even
11
watching
viewers
now.
right now. We lost one, I think, when I played the John Cena video.
That-
Yeah, I'm sorry, but you nearly lost me when you played that.
No.
But yeah, like I said, we've been going. It's like 3 hours and 6 minutes.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, it'd be
Yeah.
interesting to see the analytics on this one, because so far, was sharing early in the show, the biggest one was when we talked about the DS9 episode, The Ascent. The average viewing time was almost an hour on that one.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, if we could
I was
only
trying to
figure out
figure
how
out
we
how
did
people
that.
got viewers. I mean, obviously they like the topic of what we've been talking about tonight. That's
Yeah.
individual, obviously, but then like the rest of the like 2.5 hours.
Well, it's almost a 50-50 split, but
I
but
call
yeah.
that dangerous thoughts.
Dangerous thoughts.
Dangerous
Well,
days.
you can't have technically Trek without dangerous thoughts coming into it. You know, I mean, it's
Yeah.
Oh, we had lots of dangerous thoughts tonight.
Yeah,
well,
the average.
a little bit.
Well, whenever Tyson's on, there's going to be
That's
some
true.
dangerous thoughts.
Yeah.
Honestly, when Tyson and Travis are together,
Even
it's
better.
just
Even more-
gold.
Even more
It
dangerous.
really is. I miss them two together so much.
They are funny.
They are, and the amount I've been broken tonight because of them two is ridiculous.
I better get an invite to their wedding.
Yes,
Oh, but
I better do as well. Smuggle me across in a suitcase.
Just mail yourself. I hear it's cheaper than flying.
I hear
Yeah,
if you
I
just
might
get on a
do.
plane,
Insurance. Sorry.
I hear all you have to do is get on a plane, fly to Mexico City, and then just walk up to the border. They'll let you in.
Say you're from Honduras.
Don't tempt me, because I might just do that.
They just say you're, I don't know, say you're from China.
I love Chinese.
Well, that's what they're doing. They're flying into Mexico City and just walking
Yeah,
north,
but-
crossing the border.
Her accent might give her away.
Oh, nonsense.
Yeah, and I can't do accents.
Nonsense.
You're
You
doing
sound
one
like-
right now and you don't even know it.
You sound like
other
Jackie
than
Chan.
my own, I can't do different accents. I used to be able to do a passable American accent, enough to fool a bunch of Americans, but I can't anymore.
Oh,
Yeah.
more
so when-
American
well,
exposure.
Well, with that, I'll end the night with "Good night, laddie."
Good night, Daddy.
That was my Scottish. It's terrible. That was my Scotty.
Yeah, I can't even do a Scottish accent or Irish or Welsh.
Oh.
I'm just terrible
My
at
God.
accents.
I'm kind of halfway there.
Let's see if I can do my Sean Connery. My God.
He's amazing. Well, he was amazing.
Oh my.
The name is Bond. James Bond.
What do you mean was amazing? He is.
He passed
Oh,
away.
He's dead. He died like
When?
he passed 3 years ago.
2020?
2 years ago?
Yeah,
2 years ago,
2021.
Yeah, something like that.
I didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
He was like
Yeah.
90 something though. He lived a good life.
He was a giant. I came up to
Yeah.
his belly button.
4 years on Halloween is when he passed.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Has it been that long?
There again, I didn't
Yeah.
find out until
On-
like 3 or 4 years after Heath Ledger died that he was dead. So
Oh wow.
Because there are times I think of him in the present. And it's like, no, he's gone. He's left this mortal plane. And it's like, yeah, 4 years ago next week.
Mhm. Sneaks up on you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, but I bounced off his belly and he picked me up and pat me on my head. He's like, sorry, lass, you're all right. And I'm like, it was so exciting. I lost the ability to speak.
I probably would have been the same way.
And he took off his hat and his hair went with it. It was crazy.
But on that note, we're gonna call it good. So hailing frequencies closed. See you guys next week.
Toodle pip.